trapped in biting wind. Hearts will never bleed, frozen and vanished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. Come with the blade. Pain will wake up to despond and crown in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to rend those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. The only warmth remains in hands clasped so tight. The only fire exists in brave hearts. Seasons that refuse to change over the years will find their way back on track. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. We have no way to know where they are headed for. See them lights on the fire, just blaze through the storm. We know it's right over there, something is there. Whatever is arriving will be prepared. We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up to hear the shivering sound. The way to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. The day to celebrate, I'll be waiting till we make it. Oh, we will see. Come with me, take the journey. We will see. Come with me, take the journey. across fields of ice, but hidden in starlight. Be well aware of roads we've gone by. Put yesterday's aside, need a future head on. Now trailblazers keep credos in mind. One, stop staying within the lines. Two, we always align. Three, even if we don't get the upper hand, we'll fight for right. Four, never care or for hindsight. Five, let us live tonight. Six, even when there are wills within, we'll go ahead. Get it pulverized.
宇宙浩瀚无垠，致使包罗万象。在博识学会就有这样一位特例，无形的学术之星，举手投足间尽显低调奢华。
愚蠢是一种病，得治。我是维里塔斯拉蒂奥，是学者，亦是老师。如果你的脑袋出现了愚钝的症状，也可以称呼我为真理医生。人要学会认识自己，但偶尔也需要一些严厉的教导。0分，0分，下一个。这就结束了。不错，加5分。选择和别人做同样的事，得到的往往不会是更好的。让我来考考你。切勿心急，想明白再做决定。计算之中的结果，以益智游戏的标准，还不错。
biu biu 是我运营的产品，我想通过它和更多不懂分寸的人一起探索世界的边界。正是这些不懂分寸的人，也许他们不被理解，任性、固执，甚至疯狂。
就是我。
但如果没人去打破边界，谁又能玩透世界呢？
大家好，我是星际争霸2世界冠军李培南。作为职业选手，每天大部分时间都是在电脑前度过。每次训练结束都会有不同程度的腰酸背痛，所以我们对电竞椅的要求都非常严格，能保护腰部并且坐感舒适，成为我们挑电竞椅的重要指标。我们一直在用的傲风电竞椅就完美做到这一点。升级的锥背小弹腰有足够的支撑力，并且上下前后都能调节，坐着很舒服，非常适合大家玩游戏的时候使用。不论用什么姿势，正坐、靠着、躺着。腰托都可以支撑我的腰部，非常舒服。再来坐感，这款还配置了空调坐垫，夏天凉爽，冬天温暖，真的是跟空调一样精准控温。训练久了总觉得闷热，坐垫有3档风度调节，游戏再也不闷屁股了。现在天气转凉了，坐垫同样配置了3档加热功能，让身体一直保持温暖，游戏手感一直火热。训练之余刷刷手机休息一下，玩玩手游，6D 机械手臂可以自调节高度，手臂不会感觉累。同时扶手面很大，即使有大动作也不会落空。相信我，跟我一起选择傲风机械大师电竞椅，你也可以逆袭成为冠军。
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”， 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to day number 3 of the playoffs of Masters Coliseum 7. I'm, of course, host Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat and these amazing players as well. At least one of them. The other, we'll get him back. But here we go. We are here in the upper bracket again. Every day of the week, we have and we will be casting Masters Coliseum. Last night, we said goodbye to a couple of players. Max Pax was eliminated from the tournament. Likewise, so was... Let me just double check this. Likewise, so was Cure. Just want to make sure I was right on that. But yeah, Cure and Maxax were eliminated yesterday from the tournament, and today we determine who advances on to the upper bracket finals and the grand finals as well. Tonight, we have Maru versus Cyril, as well as Rainer versus Hero. And the winners match of those two series as well. An insane set of matches, an insane turnout. Look forward to it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. And predictions in the chat will soon be open as we dive in. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have Maru for onside. And in the top left, we have its opponent. We have Cyril for Basilisk. Here we go. The rematch is upon us. And I can't wait. Cannot wait to sink my teeth into this here. As again, for those of you who are here a couple of days ago, last week even, this is a rematch from this very tournament. Both Cyril and Maru have already played in Masters Coliseum in the group stage, and Maru did beat Cyril 2-0. It was a very intense series. It was a crazy back and forth, and Maru looked insanely good, better than he has in a very long time. And we'll see if Cyril has been able to recover from that, been able to ruminate, been able to go over the series and tighten things up and get ready here for the rematch. Because I can't wait. Last time it was a best of 3. This time, best of 5. This time it is a best of 5. And one moment, if you're in the chats over on Twitch, then place your bets because predictions are up. Predictions are open. Good luck with your predictions on who you think will take the series and advance on into the upper bracket finals. Meanwhile, we have our openers. Okay, so it's going to be a standard hatch gas pool from Cyril. Likewise, we have a 2-Rax Reaper out of Maru. The Gamba's going in the Gamba. Oh, here we go. The Gamba. But yeah, here we go. The rematch is here, and 2-Rax Reaper has been quite a common opener out of Maru. It does sprinkle it in every now and then, just to keep the pressure up, just to keep the pressure on his opponents. The goal of this opener is to contain your opponent. It's to contain them on 2 bases, to maybe get some drones. Drones shouldn't be dying here, but that's the ideal scenario for Maru if he's able to get a couple of workers here and there, as he's going to be committing to 3 Reapers. You don't commit into more unless your opponent is being a little bit greedier, and if you think you can gain more value with additional Reapers. That's if Cyril did take a 3rd base, but he should be contained to 2 bases. He should be retaining and holding on here to that 3rd a little bit longer. Keeping it at bay. Meanwhile, Reaper dives into the main base, looking for a drone kill. He's going to be zoned away. Lings have arrived. Reaper going to be forced back here for now. We see him up 1 shot away from almost getting another drone. 2nd Reaper soon to arrive. Queens do make it out in time, though. And again, Cyril should maintain his mineral line, should maintain his Lings. So far, good defense out of Cyril, hasn't lost anything major. Behind this, Maru is going to be expanding. He's going to be transitioning out of this. Again, 2-Rax Reaper into a CC. There's no 3-Rax or there's no 4-Rax follow-up or anything like that. Ooh, as we're going for a 3rd CC before Starport. Very economic follow-up here from Maru. 3rd CC even before the factory does complete. So again, he's just going to be doubling down on the economy. He's once again just keeping the Queens busy, keeping the Lings busy. Link speed is still a ways off. And again, Cyril is still stuck on 2 bases as well. Maru has done enough with these Reapers. From here, he can back off. He can back off, he can race back home. Link speed finishes up in 5 seconds. Maru is aware of when Link speed finishes, so he will be racing back home and being safe. Meanwhile, the Overlord dips in. The Overlord, I believe, did confirm the factory. May have also seen the CC in production as well, as the Overlord does dip the hell out of there. And the game will settle from here. And Maru has a nice little lead for himself. He's ahead economically. You know, Cyril just now getting his 3rd base, and will be quite some time till it gets up and running. And Cyril has to recover from here. Now, what a lot of Zerg players do from this point is potentially throw down a faster 4th CC, faster 4th hatchery, cutting corners, maybe delaying Bailey nests, delaying your lair as well, just to get to faster upgrades. Cyril has options. does have options available. As for now, Ling's going to be dipping out. They could maybe catch the Reapers, but last they won't be able to. Reapers will zone them back. And Cyril just trying to be active, trying to get a read on where units are. I do appreciate that Cyril, he's over-droning his natural. He's going to be main-arding over towards that third base when it does get up and running. Just so he can catch up in economy. And we have Maru, ooh, getting almost surrounded there. One Reaper gets picked off, but he's going for a 3cc 2-1-1 follow-up. An interesting variation. Okay, so a couple of things. No Hellions. No Hellions with this. We're going into Widow Mines first, which is unorthodox, by the way. To rush into these Widow Mines, this is risky. So we won't have Hellions to support this army to deal with those links to deny us surround. We're going to be relying on Widow Mine control instead as the Reapers get surrounded. Another best start here for Maru, and I assumed that we were going to be joining the Widow Mines with the main army, but no, we're going for a drop at the same time. Bold move here. Now, this will be delaying the stim timing as the Marines are going to be forced back, but the drop is really going to be catching Cyril off guard, or will it, is the question. Can we find some damage here with these Widow Mines as we zoom towards the natural? Drop going to be coming in. Lings are in position. Queens as well. The Widow Mines are going to be able to borrow it. Oh, decent connection. Yeah, one shot goes off. We have one Widow Mine left here, heading towards the third base instead. Hoping for another decent shot, and it looks like we won't be able to find one. Queens are here, and the Widow Mine drop wasn't quite worth it. Killed 2 workers in the end. Some mining time was lost, that is true, but the medevac may go down. Ooh, it does. Big loss there for Maru, and again, this was not quite worth it. We did this mine drop in favor of going for Hellions and Hellion control and Hellion run-bys, and wasn't quite worth it in the end. But Maru's not done. He's going to be hitting with Stim and with a 16 Marine double medevac drop. Slipping into the main base instead. We have plenty of Lings though getting in position. Queens are rotating over as well. Cyril is catching up. Yeah, he's catching up. He's keeping up. He's forcing Maru back. Ooh, Cyril, bold move here. Okay, so the layer is done. We're getting into upgrades, but Cyril, he's rushing into really fast Hydras. Very fast Hydras here from Cyril. I'm curious if this is just to get into fast Hydras for map control to shut down drop play, which he did struggle against. He did struggle against the drop play the last time they did face off, or we could even rush into lurkers. Layer tech lurkers, they have their place. They do have their place here, especially if we believe that our opponent's going to be a little bit too intense and we want to slow the game down. So my eyes are definitely here on Cyril with how he techs up. And now committing to Hydra upgrades. We're not racing into lurkers. Overlord gets caught out. Cyril holding his position. Mine drop comes back in. The mines! Oh my god. Could have been so much worse. 3 drones go down in the main base. At the same time, Lingbane engaging with the main army as well. Again, really bold move for Maru to go for these mines of all things. To go for these mine drops. Bathing Runby gets 5 SCVs across the map. The triple jump has to get some damage here. Another Bathing does roll in. Jump has arrived. Cyril is in position. Did see it ahead of time. Is keeping up so far. Is keeping up as the mine drops continue for Maru. Again, a very unique style to, like, mine drops are typically not really seen too often in this matchup. And so far, for good reason, so far it hasn't paid for itself yet, but all it takes is a couple of good mine shots and we can, of course, take control of the economy. Speaking of, Widow Mine's going to be set up. Marines pushing forward. Good Bailey connections, taking out 2 of those Widow Mines. Good manual detonation as the splits are not there. Big Bailey connections. Maru, he's being forced back. Widow Mine's being cleaned up. At the same time, medevac goes down. The Widow Mines get cleaned up once again in the main, and this drop play just has not been working out here for Maru whatsoever. And you can see the disparity in supply. You can see Cyril starting to get out of control. He's been trading far too well, shutting down far too many of these drops, and Maru's in some trouble. He is in some trouble right now. Behind this, getting into drilling claws, 2-2, 4th CC on the way. That's the second factory, of course. Maru trying to keep the pressure up. So far, it hasn't been worth it. This time, though, he does catch a base a little bit undefended. It goes for the mineral line. A couple of drones going to be going down. Can he get more? 4 workers in total. Not bad. This was a good moment. A good moment here for Maru. For the first time this game, Cyril was out of position. And that's a good start. We need to keep it up. We need to keep it up here if we want to try to come back here in this game to claw our way back in. We can see Serral with a Baneling Rumba on the right hand side. His main force keeping up with that of Maru's. Hydra's in position. Baneling Rumba busting into the third. Maru, he does respond in time, does pull away. Good reaction overall. Deepers went down. Widowmine's being shut down in the center of the map. Overall, a good cleanup here from Serral. And he does create an opening for himself. Yeah, this time he won't be caught off guard. So good splitting up of the army. And Serral has maxed. And with this maxed out armor, we have the Hive on the way. There's the Lurker that we were speaking of. As we connect, oh, 9 SCVs. Maru only pulling back half his mineral line. The other half goes down. Again, a decent mine shot, but a big reason for how Serral is dealing all this damage is because Maru's been losing so much here in these drops. He has that much less to defend, that much less pressure on Serral to force him to stay at home. Drop here towards the left does force a cancel on the hatchery. Not bad. A good pick off here from Maru, but again, Serral, he's pretty comfortable overall. Like, he's solid here on 5 bases, he's got a good economy, he's at 89 workers, he's about to have Hive Tech, Lurker then just now finishing up to get into Lurker upgrades. Like, Serral again is quite comfortable. Again, ZVT is very much a momentum-based matchup, and Maru has lost a lot of that already. Ling Bane engaging with the army, we get on top of the tanks! 2, 3 tanks go down. The drops as well are being kept up with, and we're going straight for the mineral line, straight for the economy. It looks like this 6th hatchery is going to be denied again, but it's worth it. It's more than worth it here for Serral as he breaks through the main army, catching the SCVs. 13 SCVs go down. Maru, he's being pulled apart. Oh, the Baileys are going to be connecting as well, as 25 workers go down. 26. We engage with the production, we delay the other CC, the 5th base even. And Serral, he can back off, he can remax, he can keep things going. Meanwhile, Maru, again, has been on the back foot for a very long time. Again, just the early to mid game did not go well for him, and as it is with a lot of these matchups, like, the early to mid game is so important, it does set the pace. And Maru has yet to recover from that. There is always potential with drop play, there is always potential. And that's really what Maru has to rely on. He has to rely on being able to pull apart Serral, get into a mineral line, pick off some drones, force back the army, some juicy mine connections. There's just a lot that has to go Maru's way. He is getting to live Ghost. Basically, Maru, he's stuck turtling at home. He's just stuck at home here at this point. He's walling up, sensor towers on the way, missile turrets, again, Ghosts, tanks, libs. Serral has control. Big mine shot's going to be going off. They're okay. They're okay. Lurker harass. Going to be a bit annoying here towards the left-hand side. Going to be annoying here. I appreciate that Serral is taking up even further, so he isn't just on Lingbane, Hydra, Lurker, Viper. He's working up towards Spire Tech, Greater Spire, Second Spire, getting to upgrades for Broodlord transition. Serral, he's just securing himself, making sure he's ready for any scenario. And his win condition here is just to deny the center base, deny the 5th, over and over again. From here, he could try to go for other counterattacks towards the 3rd or 4th. Matchup's going to be going up. Vipers have arrived, and we're going for the abducts, even the yoinks. Yeah. We do yoink the liberators, both of them going to be going down. And there's not enough on the ground to deny the Lingbane as we're just rolling, and we're getting out of control here. Serral rolling past the army into the mineral line. Ooh, and SCVs are going down. Where can be the factories, where can be the production. GG gets called, and Serral will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. That was a very interesting game out of Maru, is what I will say. To wind it back, and I should emphasize this in case you missed it, but again, the opener from Maru was very unorthodox. Well, the opener was standard, but the follow-up, when he went for reactor factory widow mines of anything. Like, this is not normal. This is not something that's typically done. Even in Maru's games, it doesn't typically go for this. So this felt very unique, very specialized, prepared here for Serral. It was a bold move, but it didn't work. Did not work out. We invested so much into those early widow mine drops, and they did not pay for themselves. In a way, they hurt Maru more than they helped him, and that's a big reason as to why Serral was so comfortable, why he was in control when he got into the mid game, and why he maintained control getting into the later game as well. So again, that was just a really rough start for Maru. It was a Hail Mary play, or like, again, a really risky way to play for Maru. Very out of the norm and very out of left field, and again, didn't quite pay off for him. Serral takes the first game. Now, what I will say is that we probably won't see that playstyle again. So, gonna see a very different series here. As in game, here we have in game 2, top left, Maru for onside, and in the bottom right we have its opponent. We have Serral for Basilisk. Here we go. So, even though Serral was in full control of game 1, I don't think game 1 was really indicative of the series and really indicative of the form of Maru. I think, again, a lot of the opener and the build worked against Maru in the end, and that set him behind. And against Serral, it's just difficult. Against any of these like top tier caliber players, whether you're Hero, Serral, Rainer, Maru, if you are kind of set behind at the start of the game like that, then it's difficult for anyone to recover there. But now we're getting into game 2. Again, a fresh game. Drink up, papi. Fresh game number 2 here for both players, and I'm hoping for a back and forth. It's a best of 5, plenty of games to come, and oh my, we're going for a CC first. Oh my, papi. CC first here for Maru. Very greedy opener from our Terran player. Now, hopefully he doesn't pull a Cure. Remember, if you were here last night for Cure versus Solar, you would have remembered. I'll always remember Cure versus Solar on side Delta, where Cure went for a CC first into third CC before Factory, into double eBay, into die. Like, he was giga greedy, Fabian. That was the moment when Solar started his comeback last night, if you recall. I recommend checking out the VODs. It was a very entertaining series. So Maru's opening up greedily here, and again, hopefully he doesn't cut too many corners against Serral, because if Serral catches wind of that, he will punish that. As of for now, we're getting into our openers. Again, Maru being hyper greedy instead of hyper aggressive like he was in the previous game with the 2x Reaper. Likewise, we have Serral going for a Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener out of our red Zerg player. A lot of the Korean Zergs are very fond of going economically and being really greedy and cutting their gases here on Golden Aura. We can see that is not the case for Serral, which makes sense. Serral, he's respecting his opponent, he's being safe overall. Is not rushing to a third base too quickly. As across the map, we have confirmation. Maru is in fact going for his Factory after that CC, after the racks. So we aren't, again, being hyper greedy like Cure was last night, thankfully. So economic opener, greedy opener. Not as greedy as we've seen other Terran players already in this tournament, which I appreciate, but greedy nonetheless. Serral, meanwhile, he's fanning out his units. He's making sure that he's safe and sound, making sure that there's nothing odd going on. As the Ling does dip in, and we should recognize the build at this point. Oh, as the add-on swap comes in at the wrong moment, Ling slips in, and we confirm the follow-up. Very important here. Okay, so it's going to be a CC first from Maru into a 1-1-1. And Serral gets a free scout. A big scout here from Serral with this 1-1-1 follow-up. It's very aggressive. We're going to be prioritizing Hellion production. We can go into an add-on swap and get into faster Banshees as well. It's going to be a third CC following the Starport, but far later. And this Ling may get eyes on that as well. And it looks like we barely do. The Ling, it does get roasted. Ling does get roasted as it attempts to get out. Ooh, Serral didn't see the third. Okay, never mind. I thought the Ling was able to get close enough, but it was not. So Ling goes down. We are unaware of the faster third base here, or how fast the third, I should say, is. So Serral, he should be opening up safe. We have Queens on the way. We may go for a faster lair and a faster Bailey Nest. Overlord is coming in for a follow-up scout. We need to confirm. Do we have Banshees on the way? Do we have a third base on the way? Is it a 2-base all-in? Which Maru has done many a time. So Serral needs confirmation. That is the second factory. No shot. That is a second factory. That is mech. That's a 1-1-1 Banshee opener into mech, and Cyril needs to figure this out. Needs to get a read on this because there is no reason to make a second factory. Overlord is going in. There's only a handful of Marines to stop this scout. We do get eyes on the Banshee, and we get eyes on the third CC. Do we get eyes on the factory? Oh, do we? Show us. Upside. I don't think we saw it. We didn't have confirmation, but I don't believe we saw the second factory here. Third factory is on the way. Yeah, we're going for a safe opener. So it's going to be a lair first into a bathing nest. So with this, we get faster bathing speed, but no roach warren. No roach warren because we don't know that we need roaches. As Mass Hellion is moving out. Cyclone's on the way behind this. We have Hurricane Thrusters on the way. For Cyclone speed. Not just Cyclone speed, we have a Hyperflight Rotors as well going into Banshee speed. Let's go. Now with the sheer amount of Hellions that we do get eyes on, we should be aware of what's going on, and we should have a better idea. So we have 10 Hellions. Banshees are amassing. We're going for a Spire follow-up. Oh, I don't know if I like this. Fun fact, the new Cyclone actually fares better against Mutas than the old one. Because of the high attack rate. May not have the range, but does have the DPS. So we're going Lingbane Muta here. At least that's the plan for Cyril, at least initially. Still trying to piece this together. Things they get across the map will be cleaned up by these Hellions. And again, Cyril, he hasn't seen what's being produced from those factories. He doesn't know, even if he gets an inkling that it's mech, doesn't know if it's more traditional form of mech going into tank production or into mass cycling. Still unawares. Banshee's fanning out, taking map control. Hellions are being chased down, being hunted down by these Banshees. Really good use of them as well. I do appreciate that from Maru. Cyclones have been revealed. We're now fully aware of the composition. We're just amassing more Lingbane. Cyclones have arrived, and we do see Cyril getting ready for a surround. Is preparing a surround. Maru, the scan does reveal the army. Does have eyes on it. Cyril going for a counterattack at the same time. Ooh, and we don't have much at home to defend. And not much back at home. SCV's going to be going down. We delay the 4th CC. We delay the 4th base. 5 workers going to be going down as well. Oof. Brutal loss there. And the army has to come back home. Good counterattack from Cyril. Very nicely done. With this, he gets himself some breathing room, forces back the army. Mutas have in the field. Has to be careful to avoid those Cyclones. There we go. Mutas have been spotted by the Banshees. Oh, we're not ready for it. We didn't scout the Spire. No turrets whatsoever. SCV's going to be going down. We get another 6. That's 11 in total. Attack falls as well. Banshees are getting damage across the map, but so many SCVs are falling. Again, we were just woefully underprepared. We had no idea of the Spire tech. The Banshees, they never scouted. It's going to be 12 workers going down. Maru, his economy in shambles. He's doing some counter damage here, but does need more. I'm loving the splits from Maru. Oh, let's go. I'm loving the split Banshees. They are being split off here. One Banshee does go down. A Roach Warren is on the way now for Cyril, aware that he needs it. Thors are amassing back at home. Maru, he's on the road to recovery. He's now working on his 4th CC. But the question becomes, can he keep up with the Mutas? Again, in a head-on engagement, I want to favor Maru. I do think that he can shut down these Mutas if they take a head-on fight. But Mutas won't be doing that. They're going to be dipping in between the bases and looking for some free SCVs. Or any free units. Get a depot. Cyril working on the gold base as well. Against Cyril, the Mutas, they give him map control. Maru, he's stuck at home. Cyril, he is free to be greedy, free to expand, free to take the gold. Free to take that gold base. We got 1-1 on the way behind this. Again, upgrades have been delayed because of the teching that we've been incorporating here. Upgrades now on the way. Roaches are in the mix. 5th CC in production as well. And Maru, again, he's just kind of stuck at home at this point. Banshees are getting caught out. Units are on the way. Cyclones are rotating around. We got one. We got one Banshee. At the same time, Bailey Robite comes in, but we are able to react in time. So far, good reaction out of Maru. Does only lose 3 SCVs. Cyril is about to max out. Working on Hive Tech. Hive Tech should be for Spellcasters. Should be for Vipers. Vipers. Maybe some more Vipers. We'll get there. Once again, really good movement out of Cyril. Getting another Banshee. The Muted Cloud is looking quite impressive at this point as well. Yo, we got a line of turrets here. But we find a way in. Yeah, the turrets are just barely not done. Thors have to rotate over. Decent connections. We get I think, 1 muter. The mains roll in. Maru distracted by the muters. We losing 12 SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. 12 workers will go down. Getting into a more tank-heavy style. Again, Maru, he's trying to turtle. Emphasis on trying because Cyril is still finding damage. And from here, Cyril is taking up in every direction. We have the Greater Spire on the way. We have the Ultra Cavern as well. A couple of muters get caught out. But again, we are slowly getting away from muters and going to be refining our army. Oh god. Yes, we want to get rid of our muters, not quite like that, but as a lot of muters get picked up, and here we go, we collapse on the army. Bailey's going to be rolling in. Good control so far with these Thors. We do kite back, we clean up all the muters, and this is a good fight for Maru. Does shut this down. His army a little bit battered and bruised, but he's going to be able to repair, and the Banshees, they survive. They can shut down the Ravagers. So a good moment here for Maru. But as we get rid of the muters, again, we're getting into a more well-refined, efficient army. More Lings, Banelings, Ravagers. We're still working on upgrades for the Broodlords. Kindness Plating on the way for Ultras. Wasn't an easy way to do it, but we did have to get rid of those muters in the end. But now Maru, he's pushing. He has maxed out. And Cyril stuck with mainly a Ling Bane army. Can he hold? Can he survive against this? Against the massive mech army here of Maru. Yeah, he goes for a counterattack instead. Lings, they get into the third base, and they catch the reinforcements. Tanks will be going down. Thors as well. 14, 16 SCVs. Oh my god. We get an entire mineral line. But Maru, he doesn't care. He keeps on pushing. The Blinding Clouds. The Blinding Clouds, they cover the tanks. Bailey's, they crash into the Hellbats as well. A good cleanup here from Cyril. The tanks, they get a lot of value behind this. Big shots goer. Big volleys do go off on the roaches. Behind this, Cyril is going to be able to rebuild. Once again, going for another big Ling counterattack. Catching some tanks, catching some SCVs. Just pulling Maru apart. And you can see that this Thor tank-heavy style just can't really trade well against Ling. And we don't need Thors anymore. The mutants have been dealt with. Yeah, we're trying to get into Ghosts. Ghosts are now in production. Ultras are on the way instead. And we're going straight for the base here. We catch some of the Ghosts. Cloak isn't done. One of the Ghosts going to be going down. Bailey's a roll into the Planetary. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Yeah, the Planetary will survive. Not the best use of Banelings. Not the best trade from Cyril. Regardless, does get a couple of tanks and a couple of workers. Ultra's still on the way. We've lost almost 200 Ling. Oh my god. That's a lot of Lings. It's a lot of Lings that have been going down. the scan did just reveal the goal base. Now Maru is aware. But again, because his army is so immobile, he just hasn't been able to do much of anything here when it comes to harassing these mineral lines. With this mech style, we have to go for these big frontal pushes, not run-bys. Heli and run-bys are available here for Maru, and now that he sees the gold, he may opt to go for them, but for now, Serly goes for another base, and he will get the planetary. We're out of position! We are out of position. Banelings, they do pull back. We get a kill on the planetary. Base goes down, and Maru down to 4 CCs. We're going to quickly retake that 5th, though. Base is being retaken. Infestors have arrived. I believe Neural has finished researching, so we can always go for some Neural on the Thors or the tanks. Or even the Ghosts. Ducklings, they come back in, they catch more tanks! So do we go for the fight? Do we go for the engage? And we are going for it. Big Neurals here on the Thors. Good EMP here on the Infestors. But regardless, we catch out the army. We clean up the Hellbats. We clean up most of the Thors as well. Yeah, good target firing from Serral as he does pull back. And again, he's just pulling Maru apart here. Maru just having a really hard time engaging, maxing out as well. Never quite able to be at that ideal. Serral, he's even taking one of Maru's bases. Oh my god. Base on the left hand side is being taken by Serral. Infestors are recovering. They did survive the attack. They're regathering energy. We have 333 on the way. Serral, he does push forward. He'll be bringing down that base. That's a kill, not a cancel on that hatchery. So Maru's army has been revealed towards the left, which means top right is exposed, and we're going right for that planetary. It's going to be going down. We can evacuate the SCVs, but the base itself should fall. And we collapse on it. We do bring it down. Big pick off here. And as Maru, as he rotates around, we do pick off another tank. Oh, barely don't. Tank survives, Maru taking another base. Okay, this is going to be a big moment. A big moment for Maru is that he is expanding towards his opponent, taking a stick. And if he can get it up and running, then he still can take a fight, still can engage and have some longevity here in this game. But so important that he holds on to it. Serral is getting ready for his own push. Here we go. We are diving in. Big blinding clouds here on the tanks. Tanks that cover the ultras. They collapse on the army. And we will be able to shut down a big line of these tanks. But is it going to be enough, though? We barely take down the final siege tank and the final Thor as well. Reinforcements, they arrive just in time. We hold on to the base, but that was a big blow to the army of Maru. The EMP! Let's go! The neural EMP. One ghost left with energy. And Serral is remaxing with more Lingbane Ultra. He knows how vulnerable that position is. He knows that once those 8 Ultras pop out, we can go once again for another dive. Top right has been spotted. So far, still no mining. But it has been taken. And once again, as Maru focuses towards the south, we hit the north. Another base is going to be falling. I appreciate that this time we don't waste any banelings. Do preserve them. Ghost rotating around. Uh-oh. We could still try to engage. That position is still looking very vulnerable, to be honest. There's only one tank. That one Liberator denying a lot of mining time. But Maru, he is pushing towards the gold. Finally able to move out. Top right being denied again. Scan reveals the main army. Again, Cyril, he's getting ready to engage. Getting ready to push in. Decent tower missile, but oh my god, we cover everything! But doesn't even matter because we get a good engage. We collapse on the army. Tank's gonna be going down. A Ghost will escape, but we reset the tank count. Only 2 tanks survive at that northern base. From here, Cyril can back off, remax, rebuild. And Maru can't keep pushing. Cannot keep pushing. Liberators are able to deny bottom left though. Are able to deny mining. Again, it was thanks to the anti-armor missile that the fight was able to go as well as it did for Maru, in the sense that he did retain some of his ghosts, or most of his ghosts. Did force back the forces of Cyril. As the hatchery does fall. At the same time, big lane run by here. We catch a tank. Tank and a couple of SCVs. Cyril, if you wanted to, we can expand towards the top right as well. Take one of Maru's bases. So we have 12 Corruptors on the way. I mean, now that we're incorporating Liberators, we need some more consistent anti-air. To catch an Infestor. Link's gonna be diving in. We go for another big engage. The Links, they get roasted up by those Hellbats, so that was not a good fight for Cyril. And Maru, for the first time, taking a dominant engagement here. Again, the Links, they got annihilated by the Hellbats. The Ghosts, they sniped everything else. Good fight for Maru. And despite the control that Cyril has had so far, he did just lose bottom left, and he's about to lose top right. Cyril, he's gonna be knocked down to 1 mining base. Suddenly, the pendulum is swinging here in favor of Maru. He's been retaining all of his ghosts this entire time. Broodlords are on the way. What's important right now with this scan as well is that Maru has been remaxing with Thors. Thors are back in the mix. Just in time for the Broodlords. So here we go. Now Maru can push out. This entire time, Maru has been on the receiving end of Cyril for like 15 minutes. Non-stop. But ever since the mutas hit the field, Maru has been on the back foot, but now he has momentum. But did I speak too soon? Because we do pick up another tank. Cyril, he's been burning through his bank. Doesn't have a lot of minerals left. Doesn't have the gold anymore, doesn't have top right. He's running out of mineral patches everywhere else except for center right. He has 1 full mining base, but that is it. The other bases, they are quite finite. I mean, every base is finite, but you get what I mean. Asmara once again pushing top right, will deny the space. And Cyril still building and working on his upgrades for those Broodlords. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Kill on the hatchery. Now we have a more ideal army. We have Lib, Tank, Thor, Ghost, Mech Ghost. That's the ideal late game composition of Terran. And for the first time as well, it isn't just that Maru has maxed. Maru is maxed out with a bank. He has a bank. And again, now Maru's in the driver's seat. Now he knows that he can just deny bases over and over again. Now the Broodlord count is getting bigger and bigger. The Broodlord count is getting quite impressive. So this is going to come down to how we engage. It's going to come down to the Fungal, which does miss. The Blinding Clouds. The Blinding Clouds honestly going to be very important. The neural parasites on the Thors. The neurals are going to be kind of contingent on the infestors being out of range of the tanks as well. Like we're going to have to Blinding Cloud, then neural, then dive in. God, how many? Is that like 18 Broodlords? Jesus. 20? That's a lot of broods. And we have even more on the way. Let's go. Okay, we're hyper-fixated here on winning this ground battle. Can we do it? Ooh, massive anti-armor missile. Nuke as well, zoning back the army. I'm loving this nuke here as the top right has been taken as a planetary. Mara with another base. He's going for the dive. The nuke though. Let's do pull back in time. Whew. Do pull back. Again, that's a wall of spore crawlers. So it's Broodlord Infestor Spore for Serral. He's encroaching that planetary. Is within range. He's forcing Mara's hand. And Mara, he has to push in to deny these Broodlords. Tank shield's going to be going off. Not good fungal here on the Hellbats. Good yoink as well. Good start for Serral. Another fungal. You can see the ghost rotating over towards the right hand side. They're coming in. Up. Good EP. EP does graze half of those infestors. We still have a decent amount of fungals left. Again, if we can fungal all these ghosts, that we do. But a big anti-armor missile. The base goes down. The damage was done. Mara, he does lose the CC. Meanwhile, throughout all of this, Serral took bottom left. He did retake that goal base. Time's coming in. Oh my god. Decent fungal here, grazing those ghosts. We get one, we get two. I think that was one ghost. Behind this, we're getting into Vikings, which is concerning for Serral, because Serral, he morphed most of his Corruptors into Broodlords. He has very limited anti-air. To be fair, that's why he has so many Spore Crawlers. The Spores are really how he keeps these Broodlords safe and sound, but we have triple Viking production. Like, look at the sheer amount of Vikings we have right now. And if it wasn't for those Spores, Serral would be in a lot of trouble. And even with the Spores, I don't know if I'm convinced. Yeah, the Vikings, they go ham, take down a Brood. We did see Serral remaxing with more Corruptors, and there we go. We have 6 Corruptors on the way. We do need that anti-air. Ghost went for the dive. Got an EMP off. That was impressive. bold Ghost. We got one, we get 2. 2 Brutes go down. Expensive losses here for Serral. As this game has come down to this final base. This is the most important base, and both players are fighting for control of it. With EMP here on those Vipers. Only on one though. There's still 2 Vipers full of energy. Fungal does connect with these Vikings. Yeah, the chain fungal is real. Raven does get sniped. Decent power bomb. The Vikings though, they still go ham. Oh, as a lot of ghosts have fallen actually. We're down to what, 5, 6 ghosts? Making 3 ghosts at a time. Doors being forced back. Serral takes control of this space just barely. On the Brutes. Cute moves out of Serral, fighting his own Spore there, or his own tumor. Yeah, good fungal on the Vikings. Viking count about to be reset. We have like 5 left. And Mari's being forced further and further back. But he does kill the hatchery. The hatchery barely went down. Mara, he scans bottom left. He should see the lack of mining in the bottom left-hand base as well. So it looks like Serral, he's mined out everywhere except for center right. Center right is still his last mining base. We're getting to the stage where we're running out of money. We're running out of mineral patches on the map. Except for top right. Again, top right is the base. So far, both players have mined from it. That's a lot of Thors. I kind of like this here. Maru, he's threatening a rotation towards the south, which will drag the army out of position. And this does mean that if we fight, Serral won't have his spores. He's leaving his spore crawlers behind. Oh, at the same time, Lings, they do come in, punishing the rotation. The mineral line, the SCVs. Oh, Maru, it wasn't a bad idea to rotate like that, but he left nothing behind, and SCV is going to be going down. A big blow to the economy here of Maru. 20 SCVs go down. I mean, to be fair, we don't need that many workers, but damage done nonetheless. 115 workers have gone down. Jesus. Good pickoffs there by Cyril. Now, this will force Maru to be super maxed. He's not replacing those workers. He's muling instead. And he is just, yeah, maxing out on Vikings. Jesus. And you can see, whenever Maru, he tries to move out, Lings, they come in. And, again, these patches are important just because they're some of the last patches left for Maru. Like, he needs to get as much as he can out of them. Can't afford to lose minerals in transit. As he wanted to try and rotate around, now he's forced to engage once again top right. Again, it's a full base. We can't let Cyril have it. Not for free. As Cyril is maxed out, he's building up a bank. Taking as many of these minerals and gases that he can. We'll see if he can hold. Liberator. Oh, we didn't have Liberator range. Interesting. Lib range on the way. +3 air attack. Drone's going to be fighting across the map because, again, we don't need them anymore. One Thor gets picked up. Again, against Broodlords, we have to get out of tanks. We have, like, 2 tanks in the army, but they can hurt us more than help us because of their splash damage. Said Lib Thor on the way. Slowly inching closer. Moving towards our spore crawlers. More liberators coming out. Show us the yoinks. Oh, we get 1. We get 2. 2 libs get yoinked into the spore forest. Not bad. Not a bad start for Cyril. At the same time, those drones are still going ham across the map. Oh, big overextension from Maru. Loses a lib for free. A rough moment. Again, every unit counts right now. Like, Maru, he isn't even maxed out. And we're mining for too long. Cyril, he's gaining a big lead here. He's just gaining so much value out of this base. Cyril's bank is getting larger and larger. Yeah, big Ling run by as well, going for the last mining mineral patches here of Maru. SCV's going down, no mineral patches left. And soon Maru's economy is going to hit 0. So that hit 0 here. Again, Goldenrod, there aren't a lot of bases on this map. And forced to turn around, forced to engage with the Ling drone. I believe Maru, he has like 1 mineral patch left at his third, at his triangular third. I believe that's it. No, never mind. That's it. 0 mining. 0 minerals here for Maru. He's got like 1 SCV mining at a time. So what you see is what you get. And unless Maru takes control of top right, he will be worn out in this game. Like, he's losing the battle of attrition. Decent fungal. Ghost get focused down. Big peel, we got 1. Oh, another chain fungal as well. A second ghost goes down. Very good trades here from Maru. You can see, sorry, from Cyril. You can see Maru plummet in supply. This is becoming too much. Big Thor volley is going to be going off. Bathings will be rolling in as well. Not quite. They do get zoned away. Liberation zones are being set up. It looks like we take control of the mineral line. Drones are going down. Cyril, he has to engage. He has to go for the dive. Just some big neurals here, but the investors are being focused down. Neural is running out. When we take out the ground army, there's only really Vikings left. Oh, the Vikings, though. They break through the corruptors. Where's the anti-air? No shot. Where's the anti-air here? The Vikings are trying to break through. And it looks like we will. We take down every single corruptor, but the ground army has fallen. Maru, he has nothing left, only Vikings and a handful of units on the ground. We can chase down the Broodlords, but we have reinforcements on the way. We have an economy. Good fungal here on the Vikings. As we focus out 1 more Broodlord. Like, in the end, Maru did win this fight, but Serral is winning the war. Because Serral has 7 queens on the way. The corruptors, they come out just in time. And these Vikings will be shut down. Good kiting here out of Maru, but again, this is all he has left. Yeah, every Viking is going to fall. It went down to the wire. Did go down to the wire here for Maru. He had a really good comeback. Again, Serral was in control for a lot of this game. GG gets called, and Serral will take game number 2. Ooh, GG. A very stressful game there. Very intense as well. Again, initially, Serral was in control. Honestly, like the first 20-25 minutes of this game, Serral, as soon as he hit the field with Mutas, as soon as his Mutas hit the field, he was just harassing, poking, prodding, picking up the economy, picking apart the army, and Maru was stuck at home. And remember, it was during that time when Serral was denying base after base after base, bottom left, top right, over and over again. And then there was one bad fight for Serral. If you remember, when he was trying to catch the army mid-rotation, and really Serral overextended. He lost all of his Bailings. He lost all of his links to the Hellbats. He lost all of his ultras to the Ghosts. And in that moment, then Maru, he bounced back. He made a game out of it. He was shutting down bases. He was maxing out himself. But as we saw, it all came down to one more base. It all came down to top right. It came down to that final base, and Maru had it for a time, but lost control of it. And Serral was able to reap its rewards, able to, again, outmine Maru, outlast him. GG. GG, well played. Serral needs Automas one more to take the game here. One more to win the series. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Maru for onside. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Serral for Basilisk. Here we go. Can't remember the last full mind out for one base. Yeah, it's been happening recently specifically on Golden Aura. So Golden Aura, it just doesn't have a lot of bases. The map itself just doesn't have a lot of bases. So we have encountered scenarios where players are mining out a lot faster in these split map scenarios. It isn't just that Golden Aura is a small map, but also because of its defensive features, especially when it comes to the ramp locations, it can be really difficult to push out, and very often both Terran and Protoss players get contained by Zerg players in the late game on Golden Aura. So it's something that you would see more on that map than many others. But here we go, we're getting into game 3, and we do have Maru once again going for the 2x Reaper. I do like this. Remember, it happened a while ago, but game 1 was a good start for Maru when he went 2x Reaper. You know, he contained his opponents. He was, you know, he retained his Reapers. The problem was the follow-up. The problem was the mind drop. So can Maru get into his game? Can he get into the swing of things here in this series? Like, so far, even though it's been a 2-0, something to bear in mind here is that, again, Maru's been having a really hard time actually playing StarCraft. Like, game 1, he fell behind very quickly because of his lackluster mind drops. Game 2, he also fell behind very quickly because of the Muta transition. The Muta switch, if you remember, did catch Maru off guard. He had no turrets ready. He just didn't see the tech ahead of time, and the Muta did so much damage. So every game so far, like leading into the mid game, Maru's kind of been stumbling his way into it, or like having a hard time really getting his footing. We'll see if he can do so here in game 3. We shall see. So now Reapers, they have arrived. Going to be threatening the bases of Serral. Fighting for the last cookie in the box, pretty much. But it's the last cookie in the box, but they were starving is the thing. They were starving, Papi. They needed to eat. Give them food. Give food. As behind this, it's going to be a 3cc before starport. Oh, once again, that is a bug on the map. Thankfully, the Reaper does escape. I don't know if you saw there, the Reaper was stuck on the cliff. That is a bug on Solaris, and we have seen Terran players lose that Reaper. We've seen Beyond lose that Reaper before because of that bug. Thankfully, Maru, he did escape. Did get out of there. And it's a pathing bug. As behind this, Maru, of course, getting into 3cc 211. Getting which was a buyer. Getting into his bio here. As the game is going to be settling down, finally Cyril can expand. Remember, Cyril, he was contained to 2 bases for quite some time. And this time we have a standard. Let's go! We have a standard follow-up. For the first time in this entire series, it's going to be 2x Reaper into some Hellions, of course, from map control. We have Liberators on the way. I'm ready. I'm ready for Maru to get into his game, to really show us what he's made of here. He's been holding back this entire series. He's been holding back. But now in Solaris, let's go. Still on the way behind this. Now, the way this works is, of course, Maru, he has map control with his Hellions. Going to be poking and prodding, looking for a way in. We have Liberators to harass the mineral lines as well, to try to drag Cyril out of position. We'll see if he can. Overlord goes in for a scout. I believe did get eyes on the 3rd CC. Cyril, he's aware of the more economic opener. Despite that, Cyril opening up very safely. Hellions, has to be careful not to be surrounded. But Cyril, he's opening up Lair first. He's going Lair into Bathing Nest, into faster bathing speed. Cyril, he's going into delayed upgrades. Delayed 1-1. So just a very safe way to play. Will keep you safe against things like Hellbat aggression or 2-base all-ins. So Cyril a little bit paranoid. Wants to be secure getting into the mid-game. Meanwhile, the Hellions still don't quite find a way in. They're going to be rotating around. Liberator is on the way, but doesn't quite find any damage here in the main base. So far, good reaction out of Cyril. Does keep up, does rotate around, does deny the Liberator. Meanwhile, Hellions, they rotate over towards the left-hand side, clearing up a lot of tumors. A lot of tumors have been going down, actually. And now we have the drop play. We have the double drop. A little bit premature. We're actually pushing out before we have 16 Marines. So there are going to be significantly less Marines. Oh, it's because we did make an extra pair of Hellions. So we kept the reactor on the factory a little bit longer. For extra Hellions means less Marines. As the drop is going to be denied in the main base. Hellions, they do come across the would-be fourth. And this hatchery should be cancelled. Queens are coming in. Good control though here out of Maru. As, does force a cancel on that hatchery. Containing his opponent. Hellions going to be pulling back. Speaking of pulling back, Cyril moving out with his links, heading up a bailing run by. Uh-oh. Bailing run by towards the 3rd base. Good target firing here on the tumors. The drop comes back. Do we come across the bailings? So far, we have not. Here comes Cyril. Threatening a run by. Hellions are distracted. The army as well. The bailings, they're coming in. And there's not much saturation, but we do get 6 SCVs. Not many workers to kill, but damage nonetheless. Good damage there by Cyril. 6 workers go down. Maru pushing in. Hoping to deny the 4th base again for a second time. Creepers receding. But that's a Luddling Bane. Yeah, Cyril, he can engage. He can push in. Tank has arrived, but a little bit too late. Tank sieges up Bailings. They're coming from behind as well. And we collapse on the army. The tank goes down. Cyril forcing Maru back. And Maru's in a bit of trouble because he loses another 3 SCVs. Again, this 3rd base mineral line has been so exposed, and Cyril has been abusing it. Just keeping the economy low here of Maru. The first tank went down as well, so Maru already losing a lot of firepower in this army, in this push. Should have been a triple tank push. Now only going to be 2. Only 2 tanks with this army. The base is under fire. But Cyril's so quick to respread that creep, and he's coming in from behind. And there aren't enough Marines. Once again, Cyril, he will collapse on this army, collapse on this position. The Marines are safe, but the tanks are not. And Mara, he's losing so much momentum here, losing far too much of his army. And Serral is double expanding, taking his 4th and 5th base. Maru in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble at this point. And how do we come back from here? I mean, we have to rely on drop play. We're trying to focus on some of these bases, but the creep is too good. Serral, he's keeping up with the movement so far. We see Maru transitioning. He's got a 4 CC on the way. Second factory for double tank production. But for the most part, Serral, he's getting out of hand. Again, losing so many tanks so early on means that this third base is very vulnerable. It's still so vulnerable, and Serral is going right for it. There's 1 tank to defend. 2 tanks, I should say. Speaking of, we do get on top of them. 1 tank goes down. Again, just keeping the tank count low as possible. Infestation bit on the way. Serral looking to go Ling Bane into Ultra. Oh wait, sorry. I missed the Hydra then. Sorry. Ling Bane into Hive. Ling Bane Hydra into Hive Tech. Into Vipers. It's a much more standard composition. Not racing into Ultras like a player like Darkwood, for example. As Serral is just looking very secure. Now, Maru is going for some drop play, and we need to make some magic happen here. This drop play needs to get into a mineral line, deny bases, spread apart the attention of Serral. There's just so much pressure on Maru right now. He comes in, but Serral, he's in position. He keeps up. Oh, very slick control there out of Maru. Does pull back. Dropping to the main. Queens are in position. No! A little bit late to react, a little bit late to pull back, and a full medevac goes down. Yo, the SE Boy production team are brutal. They do this every now and then to players like Oliveira, to Maru as well. They're like, show us the reaction shot. As Bailing's going to be rolling in. And again, as Serral, he has control of this base. He gets into the mineral line. SCV's going to be going down. The production team, they're like, cry for us. Shaking my head. As Lings, they get across the map, they get another tank, another 2 tanks. Let's go. 2 tanks, 3 tanks gonna be going down. And Serral, he's just in full control at this point. He's in full control. Resetting the tank count over and over again, crippling the economy, spreading that creep all over the map. Another Bailing run by coming in. Tanks are out of position. Well, they're just not here. They were dealt with earlier. We deny more in mining time. And Serral, he wants to engage. He's going to. Collapses on the army. Gets into the mineral line as well. And he will break this location. So Maru going to be kiting back here, but he exposes his base. 13 SCVs go down. 15 SCVs go down. So we're just making sure that Maru cannot stand back up, that he stays down. And again, Maru just hasn't had too much success here with his drop play. Hasn't been able to be too active on the map. Whenever he has been, just Serral, he's been there to meet him at every twist, at every turn. And even though Maru, he's killed a lot of tumors throughout this game, like Serral, he's always there to replace it. He hasn't lost any of his queens, has retained them. As a result, he's able to keep up time and time again. 5th base on the way. This is going to be a big moment. A big moment for Maru. If he can take a 5th base, he can max out. That's a big if, though. That's also if he retains this army as, we cash a drop again. Good trade for Maru. A lot of tank volleys go off. Again, he's just turtling up, and just like the previous game, he's going to be turtling, and there's going to be a moment where he's hoping that Serral overextends. He's hoping that Serral does lose a little bit too much, and then suddenly Maru can start being active again. But that's, again, reliant on Serral taking a bad fight, and so far he doesn't. So far he collapses on the planetary, brings it down, gets a kill. That's all that Serral has to do. Like, there's no need to overextend and push into either the 3rd or 4th. Just deny the 5th. Deny the 5th over and over again and just tech up. That's exactly what Serral's doing. He's taking up into Lurker Tech. Hive is done. We can invest into Ultras, into Spire Tech. Cyril really just needs to contain. Because again, if he gets a little bit too excited, a little bit too antsy, then Maru will have a good shot. Speaking of, Cyril, he wants to push in. The mines! Decent. It's an okay mine shot. Grazes some of the Lings. Big EMP on the Viper. Oh, Dropper Lord's on the way. At the same time, a ring of turrets. Against Cyril, he does want to rest on his laurels. Clearly, he does want to push in. He does want to try to break Maru. A risky way to approach this, but he's going for it. There we go. The Doom Drop on the way. Dropper Lord's getting in position. Spire in production as well. As creep is getting to the point where we're covering the 5th base here of Maru towards the north and towards the south. Drop Lords are set up, but we're not going for the drop yet. We're in position to eventually go into the main. But thankfully, we're not going for it for the time being. Spoke too soon. Cyril, he's loading up. There we go, Ling's loading up those Dropper Lords. We can head either towards the main base or the 3rd. Remember, though, there is a line of turrets protecting that main. Liberator's getting in position. 2 more factories, so we're transitioning into mech. It's going to be Ghost Mech, just like the previous game. That's the ideal late game composition that Mario is working towards. Should be getting to tanks, Liberators, Ghosts. Maybe some Thors. These are the mine shots. Oh my god, massive mine shots even on the Bailings. A good fight here for Maru. You can see Cyril plummet in supply. And this is what Maru was hoping for Cyril to overextend, pushing into one of these bases. Doom drop into the main. But it looks like we will make it in. Oh, a couple of overlords going to be going down, but the Lings, they do bust in. And we're going for the production. We're going for the upgrades. Yeah, forcing a big reaction there out of Maru, out of position. We got 5 SCVs. We got 5 workers. We take down Arax. We don't get the armory. Bear that in mind. But Lings are burrowing at the same time. This space is exposed. And Cyril, he goes straight for the planetary once again. And this time he will get it. And again, Cyril, he has a massive bank. He can afford these trades. Even if he took a rough fight earlier, wasn't enough for Maru to come back. And wasn't enough for Maru to hold on to that base. We're going for the armory. The armory, it's going to go down. +3 vehicle weapons is denied. Good pickoffs here from Cyril. Good pickoffs overall. Meanwhile, he's still double expanding. Or taking the north and southern bases. Turrets being rebuilt. Now, Maru is about to max out. Bear that in mind. He is about to max, and just like previously, he can still pull off like a solid defense. Speaking of, good mine shot on those Bailings. Boiling Bane going to be rolling on in as well. Ooh, and we will connect with some of the ghosts. But not with the main army. We can quite make it in. I do believe here that Maru will eventually take this base. Should be able to establish his position. Now, thankfully, Cyril has been taking up. He's got Ultra upgrades on the way and Broodlord upgrades on the way as well. So if he does end up losing another fight, or like losing a lot of supply, he can, of course, refine his army and get into something a little bit more efficient. Well, Planetary isn't done yet. Planetary isn't done. Another tank going to be going down. Living Bane here coming in from the north as well. Big flank. The Ghost, they're forced to pull back here. And this CC, it's going to be going down once again. 25 dead SCVs. We do retain the Ghosts. The base itself barely does survive. Doesn't burn down, thankfully. You can see Maru's trying to double expand. Again, if he can get these two bases back up and running, or if he can get them up and running, then he can sustain himself. Well, that's a big if. Again, these are two fresh bases for Maru. Big mine shot, but still going for a big counterattack. We came to the production. We get into another mineral line. SCVs are going down. And as Maru has to respond to this, we see Cero getting ready to push in towards the north as well. The Ghost will clean up all these lings. It's a lot of Baileys. As the Ling Hydra does push forward, a tank goes down. Well, we do snipe the Infestor. Good eye there out of Maru. But Cyril, he does rotate back around, and he wants that planetary so bad. He's going to get it as well. Baileys, they roll in. And they go for the base. They go for the planetary, and it will be shut down. Again, all Maru needs is to establish these bases, but that is easier said than done. He just cannot get them up and running. Not yet. Orbitals being floated over, which means no planetaries. Means this position is going to be that much weaker. Another big Ling run by comes in. We do take a mine to the face, but just too many Lings. We take control of this third base location, and we will deny it. Which is pretty huge. There's still a lot of money there. There's still a lot of minerals there. And gas. As we collapse on the CC. And it's just becoming too much at this point. Maru, he just cannot expand, cannot take these bases. Left and right is being pulled apart. And earlier, if you remember, Maru was maxed. Earlier, Maru, he had actually a really good opportunity or chance to actually establish these bases. Not anymore. Not anymore. He does have a comparable army supply here, but Ling Bane rolling on in. Collapsing on this position. We take down every single tank. The Baileys, they connect with the Ghosts. They actually do this time. A good chunk of Ghosts go down. GG gets called, and Cyril, he will snowball out of control and take the series 3-0. GG, well played. Congratulations, Cyril. He gets his revenge. Last week, Maru 2-0'd Cyril. This week, Cyril 3-0's Maru. GG. GG, well played. So Cyril, he does, again, avenge himself from last week. And he will be advancing on into the upper bracket finals, where he faces off against the winner of Rainer and Hero, as that is going to be our next best of 5. When it comes to Maru's performance here, again, like I spoke about it earlier, about the first two games, about how the first two games were really unfortunate for Maru. He had a really rough time in the mid game, and even leading into the mid game. We talk about the mine drops, we talk about the muta switch that caught Maru off guard in game 2, and here in game 3, Maru was hyper aggressive with his tank pushes, if you recall. Hyper aggressive. And arguably a little bit too aggressive because he got shut down. He lost his first tank very quickly. He lost his next 2 tanks very quickly. And upon losing his 3 tanks, he lost map control. He lost map control. He lost control of his third base as well. And Cyril was able to get real comfortable real quick after the initial failed pushes of Maru. And from that moment, again, Maru was kind of stuck defending back at home. And Cyril, he just took control of the game very quickly there. Very quickly. Maru was just so uncomfortable throughout this entire series. And yeah, was just stuck at home. Again, it just goes to show how important like those earlier stages of the games are when it comes to like the dominoes falling, you know, in favor of a certain player, and how difficult it can be to recover from that as well against these high caliber players. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to Cyril. And with that, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have Rainer versus Hero. We'll see you soon. Oh. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break because we have returned with our second match of the night to determine who faces off against Cyril in the upper bracket finals. We have another best of 5, a ZVP between Rainer and Hero. And if you are in the chat, predictions are open. Best of luck. Place your bets, as predictions are going to be open for another couple of minutes, so you can get your gamba on and predict who faces off against Cyril. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Rainer for Team Basilisk. And in the top left-hand corner, we have for Dragon Kai Gaming, it is Hero. Here we go. Again, both Rainer and Hero have had a pretty intense tournament already here. As Hero, fun fact, he had a pretty early one as he went 3-0. He went undefeated in the group stage. He actually came out in first place and did cruise his way through. Rainer had a bit of a rockier road, but did take down a lot of high-quality Protoss players in the process. Rainer, in the process of making his way here to the playoffs, he did take down MaxPax 2-0 and Firefly 2-0. So his ZVP is in form. Is it in form to take down Hero, though? That is the question. The best Protoss player in Korea, as Rainer is going for a 15-15. Now, if you've been tuning in recently, over the past month, 2 months, you know, every time we cast Rainer, like he's very fond of it. He's very fond of 15-15s against Protoss, against Terran, and against Zerg. Does do it quite often. Has been the trendy thing for Rainer to do. Very stylistic, is what I should say. Very stylistic. As we ease our way into this, now in this matchup, 15-15 specifically is for a faster hatchery to be able to get it on location, to not be denied and forced to take the unnatural natural. I do think this is really important against Hero, because Hero is a very aggressive player. He's very aggressive, he's very dynamic in PvZ specifically, or in every matchup really, but in this matchup he can be very chaotic and very hard to read. So Twilight Council openers are not out of the realm of possibility for Hero. He has gone Glaive Adepts before. He's beaten many a powerful Zerg player with Glaive Adepts, so making sure that we have our natural up and running is quite important when it comes to the defense of Rainer. It will deter Twilight Council play. Now, based on the pylon positioning, it looks like a Stargate opener. From Hero. But with a Stargate, we can go into a multitude of different kind of approaches and builds. We can go different directions. There it is. Stargate is on the way. Warp Gate, of course, is delayed. And Rainer's aware. He does see the lack of Warp Gate. He should be fully aware of the Stargate opener. But the question becomes, do we go for Oracle play? Do we go Void Ray? Or do we go Phoenix? Again, Hero, he can do all of the above. And he's damn good at it. So really my eyes are mainly on Hero for this series when it comes to his builds of choices. It's going to be on Rainer to react. I mean, I say that very quickly, I should mention, we are loading into Hardlead. Hardlead is a very small map, very short rush distance by ground. Because it's so short, there are a lot of all-ins. We've seen a lot of Zerg players go for Roach Queen all-ins, whether it's a German taxi, whether it's a Nidus, whether it's just a Queen walk across the map with a creep highway. There have been a lot of all-ins here on this map that even Rainer has done himself. So that's also on the table. That's also, I'm sure, in the back of everyone's mind in this game, that we have potential for that, if the Zerg player were to choose to be aggressive. For now, linear third is being taken. Good denial of the creep tumor. Very nice pick off there from Hero. Gets a tumor. Adept's going to be shading out towards that mineral line, and we have our first unit of choice. It's going to be a first Oracle. We have a second Oracle behind this. It's going to be an economic opener out of Hero. This is going to lead into a third base. So Hero is going to be building up towards 3 bases. Oracles, of course, gain map control. Third Nexus is on the way. The question now becomes, 1, can Rainer keep up? As we do get 1 drone, 1 worker in the main base. We do deal a lot of hull damage. Good positioning here from Rainer. But the transition from Hero is the question. Does he go into +1 blink? Does he go into +1 charge? Do we go double robo into Colossus production? As we have our answer, it is going to be the Forge and Twilight Council. This should be +1 blink stalkers. And again, Hero, he has some of the best micro in the world when it comes to blink stalkers. He can use them like no other. He can be hyper aggressive with them as well. It's going to be on Rainer to keep up and to also confirm what's going on. For now, he's just been droning, just making queens. Another tumor goes down. Hero being so annoying here, shutting down those tumors. Ooh, as we do have a bit of a gateway explosion behind this. Interesting. Show us our upgrade. Show us our tech choice here. As I believe we delayed our robot production in favor of additional gateways, and we see why. It is going to be charge instead. Let's go. So it's going to be 6 gates in total. We have 6 gates set up here with charge. I believe we're going to be warping in back at home and pushing out quite quickly. We're moving out quite quickly here. Again, there's no robo, no prism, no temple archives behind this. Another couple of gateways on the way. Uh-oh. Did I say 6 gates? That is 8 gate charge. Very aggressive here from Hero. His goal here to catch his opponent off guard. Roach Warren still on the way. Again, the Roach Warren is about to finish up. We need Roaches to defend against this. Otherwise, Rainer is going to be in a lot of trouble. Here we go. Again, the size of this map is a double-edged sword. I spoke about how because of how short this map is, we've seen a lot of Zerg players go all in. Likewise, because of how short this map is, we can see Hero warp in back at home and move out even without a prism. Doesn't take long at all to move out across the map. And there it is. Zealots are in production. They're amassing back at home. Hero, I'm sure he's going to be waiting for an extra warp in. Meanwhile, Lings, they do go for a big counterattack, and we're about to get a read on what's going on. Oh my god, a Ling barely doesn't slip in. Barely doesn't make it through. A lot of Lings are on the way. I'm concerned though, I don't see a lot of Roaches, and here come those charge outs. Their goal to shut down the base. We actually go past the base instead. We're going for the natural. We're going for the third? We're going for the third base. We're going for the queens instead. Oracles, they come in to support. Yeah, they can zone away these Lings. The queens are in a bit of trouble there. Queens are falling. Good pickoffs there from those zealots. So I want to say 2 queens go down and the zealot wave continues. We deny the center base. And we're going for the queens again. These roaches are delayed. We delayed roach production here. Now they're on the way. Now we realize we need them. So far, good damage from Hero, but he needs more. As he collapses on this position, Zealots from behind, we get the queens. The queens are going to be going down one after the other. Clutch Ravager movement there from Rainer. When every queen goes down, and we ignore the natural base, we recognize that SimCity. We're going for the third. We're going for the third instead. More Zealots on the way. We're catching the army out of position. Out in the open, we collapse here on top of the Ravagers. Big pickoffs there from Hero, and he's getting too much damage. 15 drones go down. This is game-ending damage here as we get even more in between the bases. Again, this caught Rainer completely off guard. It was a 3-base, 8-gate charge timing here with +1. And we're following it up with Blink with +2, Second Forge for +1 armor. Zealots, they continue to flood in, and GG gets called. It's just too much. And Hero takes game number 1. We're losing him. Oh no. Hero, he takes game number 1 here. Barely connected to the internet. Who needs it? 240p. Vámonos. GG, well played. Again, we spoke about how unorthodox and how unpredictable Hero can be, and how aggressive he can be as well. And this build, again, to give credit to Rainer, this build that Hero did is unorthodox. It is not standard to not just open up charge, but to also double down, skip the robo, and go for an 8-gate charge, essentially 3-base all-in. Because there was very little tech behind it, essentially 3-base all-in. And Rainer didn't scout it. He didn't scout it. I was curious if his Ling counterattack could maybe get eyes on the Zealots, but he didn't. He didn't see the Zealots, didn't see the army that was amassing, so he missed the scout. He didn't get into the main base, didn't realize how many gateways there were. Rainer, who was being a little bit greedy by not going for the Overseer scout, and he was caught with his pants down. The pants, they were down, Pappy, and Hero took advantage of Rainer. GG, a solid win there from Hero. And I don't think we're going to see that build again. Bearing in mind, I don't think that we're going to be seeing that build again from Hero. To be fair, I expect a unique build every game. Every single game of this series, I expect Hero to come out with something different, with something special. And that's what is scary. That's what's difficult about facing off against Hero, is that he has just so much available to him. And he's just so difficult to keep up with tech-wise, or mind game-wise, or build-wise. So a solid win there from Hero. We'll see if Rainer can keep up here in game 2 and in the rest of this series, and if he can get a better read here on what's going on as well. We're losing Rainer. Oh no. We're losing him. Not like this. Okay, it's coming back. It's coming back. Here we go. What respective ping do you think they're playing on? So for Europe versus Korea, I believe they play and they alternate between West and Central, if I'm not mistaken. So they alternate between them. So they would vary between like 130 to 180 ping, depending on which server they're going to be playing on, and they're going to be alternating back and forth. So both players are going to be playing on ping, but again, it's going to be as even as possible, as both players are going to be suffering with higher ping as a result, as we alternate between the servers between the games. So that is how things are typically done between Korea and Europe. And here we go, we're getting into the next game, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have a Rainer for Basilisk. And in the top left, we have his opponent, we have a Hero for Dragon Kaizi Gaming. And yeah, as Senju was saying, it's also the rough thing about Central and West is, if we do want to get into the nitty gritty of it, is that Europe is a big place. So depending on where in Europe you are, different European players actually experience better or worse ping. That's also another thing if you want to like really get into it. Like Eastern Europeans, for example, can have a rougher ping compared to more Western Europeans. So that is like that can be like a slight factor for like an extra like 20 ping, for example, but like nothing major. As we are settling into game number 2. Here we go. Oh, we got the cameras back. Beautiful. Kind of. Oh, the hero's stuck? No. As we are getting into our openers, once again, it is looking to be a hatch gas pool. So hatch gas pool opener here from Rainer, going into delayed gases. Meanwhile, Hero going for a gate expand. So standard opener out of Hero. Once again, these now becoming signature opener of Rainer. So again, his gas is going to be delayed, but he's going to have his natural base up and running. He's going to be able to get into the swing of things and get a comfortable start here to game number 2. Now, as we load into Oceanborn, we should again talk about the maps. The map did come into play last game as well. That charge all in from Hero would work far worse on a larger map like Alkyone or Ratissa Station or even Site Delta. So I'm sure, or even Hecate. So I'm sure hard lead did lead to that decision. Likewise, Oceanborn is another good map for all-ins. The rush distance by ground is a little bit longer, that is true, but the third base location is much more exposed. The reason for this is because there's no ramp leading into the leading into the third. I should say, the ramp leading into the natural is quite large, and you can actually get onto the same point of elevation of the third base at the center of the map, because there's a ramp leading into that area in the center of the map instead. Which is why, likewise, a lot of Roach Queen all-ins are also common on Oceanborn, or aggression is common on Oceanborn, because of how more vulnerable that third base is. As once again, Hero opening up with a Stargate opener back at home. And we should be seeing an Oracle opener alongside this. And there it is, Oracle is in production. So Hero, once again, is going to be opening up from Oracles into a third base, just like the previous game. But as we mentioned, just because the opener is standard, doesn't mean the follow-up is standard. What happens in the mid-game, it's really only Hero knows. And even then, he may not know right now. he may still be thinking about it. Third base now being taken. As I mentioned, from here, we can go +1 Blink, we can go Charge, we can go into delayed Twilight Council faster Robo production with Robo Forge instead. We can go double Stargate and Mass Oracle, which Hero does like to do. So really, we're all just kind of waiting to see what kind of build Hero whips out. And likewise, not just what build he whips out, but if Rainer can get a read and scout what's going on. Information is what Rainer was lacking in that last game. That's why Hero had so much success, is, as we mentioned, because Rainer didn't know what was happening. Didn't know that he had to prepare for a charge all-in, didn't know that he needed Roaches, Psych Defense, potentially Bailings as well. Ooh, as we're going double for... Oh my god. Wait, triple Forge? Disc, is that you? What? This is new. we cast StarCraft here on a daily basis, like 8 hours a day, every day. We cast a lot of Hero, and I've got a pretty good read on the typical builds that Hero does, like Mass Oracle, like Charge All-Ins. But this, I haven't seen from Hero before. Triple Forge. I have seen Disc do this. Disc did this, fun fact, in DreamHack Americas, in ESL Masters Winter, in the Americas Regionals. He's the only other player I've seen do this, and to be fair, Disc did it for the lulz, because I think he like bet his chat. He like, chat, watch me do this when I play. He's like, okay. So we have a 1-1-1 timing here for Hero, and more importantly, he delays his Twilight Council. So this is looking like a variation on a tech-heavy build. So the more standard build that I think this is kind of peeling off from is Forge Robo. Forge Robo openers do lead into faster Robo production, so Colossus and Immortals, we go into delayed charge and blink, and we go into a fourth base. We go into a macro game, and we hit a timing with all these upgrades, like with 222, for example. So we have Immortals on the way. So Immortals are amassing, again, a very tech-heavy style. We're not going to be aggressive anytime soon, because we're delaying our Twilight Council upgrades. This should be charged, though. I imagine, yeah, there we go. We have charge on the way. We're going to be taking up into Archons. This should be working towards Templar Archives and Archon production, and we're going to be building up a Death Bowl of Immortal Charge or Archon on 4 bases, and it's going to hit like a truck. I'm assuming this is going to be with 4 bases, but that's a lot of gateways. We're going up to 6. That's going to be 8 gates in total. This is insane. Okay, so scratch what I said about the 4th base and scratch what I said about the Archons. Instead of the Archons and instead of the 4th base, we're hitting a very big timing here with 8-gate charge again, but this time with 1-1-1. But we bust in! We bust into the natural base, and we're going to be getting a scout off. A big moment here for Raynor. He's going to get some damage done, but he sees everything. He sees the massive amount of forges. He I'm sure is shaking his head a little bit, but he gets a better idea of what's happening. He sees some of the gateways. The gateways are split up between the bases, though. And can Raynor respond? But again, at least he gets a better idea of what's happening. There we go. Bathing Nest. Bathing Nest is on the way. Bathing's going to be huge here in the defense. And I love this from Hero. So I'm pretty sure that Hero was going to hit a timing with 1-1. 1-1 is finishing, but now we have 2-2-2 on the way, and now we have the Templar Archives. I want to believe that because Hero got scouted, he won't be hitting the timing that he otherwise would have, and he's going to hit a later timing, and this should be leading to a 4th. Like, if we want to hit with 2-2-2, then this should lead into a 4th base, but we'll see. We'll see how Hero does adjust. The Prism is on the way. The Prism could be for the push. Temple Archives is finishing up. If we do move out Hero now, we will hit with our 1-1-1 timing. It's not going to be as powerful, as potent, because you can see that Raynor, he's already at 90 workers, and he's already amassing an army. We'll see how this all pieces together. Blink is on the way. Hero, he's working on that next step. Blink is now on the way. Archon's being morphed in. Question becomes, is Hero going to commit to his push, or does he harass? Yeah, Zelt's on the right-hand side. I believe he's keeping his Archons back at home. Yeah, okay. He's keeping his Immortals and Archons back at home. Oh, he's getting surrounded here. These Zelts are being shut down. Zelts are going to be falling. And yeah, Hero, he has to take a more defensive position. The longer this goes on without a 4th, the more concerned I am for Hero. Hero, he throws down 2 more gateways. That's going to be 10 gates in total. That's a lot of gates. And there it is, 4th now on the way for Hero. So he is just pivoting away from this. He's transitioning into a 4-base economy. And Raynor's in control. He's in control of this game right now. He's on that ideal worker count. He's maxing out. He's taking up towards Hive Tech. Spire is on the way. Raynor is looking a lot more comfortable. Right now, it's on Hero to survive. Hero, he has to survive. He has to defend and actually establish his 4th base. Like, momentum quickly has swung from one player to the other. And a big reason for that is because, you know, we were able to scout, confirm, and respond to what Hero was doing. Here we go. We have a massive amount of 25 Bailings on the way. That's a lot of Bailings. Raynor getting ready for his push. How good are the force fields? Up. First sentry goes down. Full energy sentry as well. Big pick off. Hero trying to go for a run by. He's trying to force Raynor back off. Trying to force him back home. Prism going to be threatening the bases. Oh, we collapse on the army of the Bailings. They roll in. They crash into the Archons. A decent stasis trap. Hero, he's holding. Like, I'm loving the positioning here of his army. Really good control. Did take off a lot of those Banelings. Broodlords on the way. The Greater Spire in production. Banelings, they crash into the Zealots. Good trades from Raynor, but the Archons, they do soak a lot of those Banelings. The Prism, oh my god. So very low. As the Prism did scout the Greater Spire, but again, Hero's on the back foot. He's on the receiving end. He does hold on to his fourth. The Prism goes down. Raynor, he can focus on the main push. And Hero, he's just stuck defending. Stuck surviving. Raynor gonna be coming in. Again, these Immortals and Archons are so exposed. We get on top of them. And it looks like we get up. Barely not an Immortal. I believe we get an Archon. Zealot's going for some harass. Bold move here from Hero. Going for a Zealot run by towards that Greater Spire. And gets it up the Queens. Queen's going to be going down. We catch reinforcements. Good positioning from Hero as well. Bathing speed is done. And we crash into the Zealots. They get a good trade from Raynor. Is forced back home though. As Zealots, they get into the economy. They get into the mineral line. 8 drones go down. Again, this is a good run by from Hero, but Hero did lose a lot across the map. He lost a lot here with his main army. So he can't quite push out. He does alleviate a lot of pressure though. Now the scary thing is that right now Hero isn't ready for Broodlords. He has Blink and he's got his, you know, triple upgrades. Sure, cool. But not a lot of Blink Stalkers. Hero is still trying to stabilize. He's almost there though. Like he needs a little bit more time. Would ideally like another base. Raynor still on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Rotating around. Going for the fourth. Zealots are coming from behind. They did collapse on the Banelings of all things. But overall, Hero, he is holding. Zealots crashing in once again. Raynor still building up his upgrades. He hasn't transitioned yet when it comes to his army composition. His upgrades just aren't ideal. He has a Greater Spire, that's true, but he doesn't want like 0/0 Broodlords. It's not what he wants. As Hero, he's still working on the Death Bull of an army. Now, because of the sheer amount of Immortals and Archons that he has, Hero can win a fight and then push towards the bases and kill a base. Like, he has the potential if he can max out. That's what he's hoping for. And so far, he's been trading relatively efficiently, but we have a big link counterattack. Ooh, Hero, though, he's in position. Does defend. Lings are being forced back. Hero does turn back around. He will deal with those Lings. At the same time, rotating towards the 5th base of Raynor. Sorry, the 4th base, even. There's a lot of creep to work through. There is a lot of creep. Spades, they crash on a good Blinding Cloud. A very nice Blinding Cloud here on the Immortals. And we crash into the army. Lings from behind as well. A good trade for Raynor. He collapses on the Immortals and he may be able to break on through. He may just barely have enough. Yeah, a rough fight for Hero as he's going to be losing almost everything. The Prism! Oh, the Prism barely survives, but the Immortals go down. And just like that, that's the entire army of Hero. He plummets in supply down to sub 100. And again, from when was the start here, Raynor, he was able to gain control of this game, able to scout his opponent, deter the all-in, the timing that Hero wanted to go for, and Hero, he's been stuck at home ever since. And this is the style of Hero. Again, high risk, high reward. If you don't get scouted, you can pop off and you can look amazing like in game 1. If you do get scouted, then things can look rough, like here in game 2. As Raynor, he just collapses on this, Bailey's crashing into the Zealots. Forcing this army back. We get into the middle line. 12 probes go down. GG gets called, and Raynor will take game number 2, tying it up 1-1. GG. GG, well played. So again, a much better game this time for Raynor. He was able to get a read what was happening. Because of that, Hero, he had to back away from his initial plans. He was ideally looking for a 1-1-1 timing. He was never able to hit it. And likewise, he was just stuck at home from that point onwards in that game. just stuck at home perpetually on the back foot, on the defense. So a much cleaner game out of Raynor. And with that, we're tied up. We're tied up 1-1. Now the question becomes, once again, what build are we going to be seeing here from Hero on Solaris? And clearly anything is possible. Clearly. Why is Hero not going for 3-3-3? Didn't have the money for it. Didn't have the economy. He was never able to max out. I don't know if you noticed, but Hero, he was never able to max out, never able to keep up. And a larger army was more important for Hero there as opposed to, you know, 3-3-3 upgrades, as expensive as they are. So Hero never had the opportunity to try to go for that. And we'll see how things will turn out and what kind of turns we take as we get ready for game number 3. And we're loading on in and spawning in the top right hand corner of Solaris. We have our Italian Zerg player Raynor, the Basilisk. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent. We have, for CranKy Gaming, Hero. Again, unfortunately, it looks like we have some connectivity issues with the webcams. Both Hero and Raynor's cams have been struggling from time to time. But we're doing our best. But for the most part, we have at least Raynor. We have at least his reaction cam. Here we go. As we are going to be settling into game number 3. So far, it looks like another gate expand. Ooh, Raynor for the first time this series going for a hatch gas pull, and he is going to be punished for it. Is going to be forced to take the unnatural natural. So a nice start here for Hero. We do have speed zones in the center of the map as well, so aggression can be favored. We have likewise seen some Queen all-ins on this map. So far, though, with how Raynor's been playing, I doubt that's going to be the direction that he takes us in. Once again, our eyes are going to be on Hero when it comes to what kind of build we were about. And again, that last game, that was a special one from Hero. that was a spicy game. First time I've at least seen Hero go triple forge in such a fashion. But we'll see. We'll see what we do plan on whipping out here in game 3. For now, opener should be standard. For now, pylon placement is closer to the bases, I believe. No, never mind. It's now going to be thrown down. Okay. It's thrown down on the edge of Hero's main, so it looks like another Stargate opener. Should be another Stargate opener. I wouldn't be opposed to mixing it up and going for a Void Ray first. I wouldn't be opposed to either going Void Ray first or Phoenix first. Hero does whip that out from time to time and has found a lot of success with that kind of playstyle as well. So we shall see. As there's a Stargate that we mentioned, again based on the pylon placements. And we'll settle into what Hero is going to be up to. Likewise, Raynor just droning up, gaining map control, should be soon working on his third base, amassing his queens. Gonna try to get a read on what's happening, keep up with Hero. We are just going to be easing into Solaris. Again, a lot of bases to be taken on this map as well. The center of the map is very wide open, so when it comes to longer games, things can get a little bit chaotic and can be a little bit difficult to actually push through. Especially once a Zerg player gets creep in the center of the map, as we saw in the previous series. But until then, Hero is opting to go for another Oracle opener. So should be standard opener for the time being. It's going to be Oracle into a third Nexus, into a second, into a third Oracle as well. So economic start for Hero. Once again, the question becomes, what will the follow-up be? So game 1, we saw an 8-gate charge, 3-base all-in. Game number 2, we saw like a weird immortal charge, 1-1-1 all-in that we had to deviate away from because we got scouted. So Hero, what do you have for us in game number 3? Oracle dipping in between the bases, we catch maybe some larva. Not much else though. Things they have arrived, they get eyes on the third base. They force the second Oracle to stay back at home. Ooh, and two adepts, they do manage to get across the map. Two adepts, they do one-shot drones, and we do commit. We're going for the mineral line. One worker goes down, we get two. And can we get a third? Oh, it's one of those adepts that gets stuck. Does manage to get stuck there. Two adepts for two drones. Not the best trade for Hero. We did deny some mining time, but not ideal. Bearing in mind that this does mean that the third base of Hero is that much more vulnerable. As the Oracles come back in, looking for any free drones. And they catch a Spore. And they do force a kill on the Spore as well. Not bad. Oh, the Oracle taking a lot of hits. Does take a lot of hits as we do manage to get into the dead space. Big Link counterattack here gets some of the adepts, and we do get one. As we have our follow-up. It's going to be a Forge and Twilight Council. I imagine this will be the first time this series that we do get into Blink, but we have 2 more gateways on the way. 4 gates already. 5 gates already. Oh my god. Hero. This is going to be a very aggressive variation. It's +1 Blink Stalkers with 5 gates, soon to be 6, I imagine. Yeah, there we go. More gates on the way. That's going to be 6 in total. A very aggressive variation here from Hero. I mean, every game so far has been opening up aggressively. So soon to be very active with these Blink Stalkers. He does keep all of his Oracles alive. Very important. If you want to be active, if you want to be aggressive with Stalkers, you need these Oracles to support yourself. To keep your Oracles alive. They do help when it comes to dealing with these Lings to deny any kind of surrounds. Speaking of, creep is being cleaned up, and Stalkers are amassing. Stalkers have been scattered. Big moment there for Raynor. He does confirm that it shouldn't be charged. Otherwise, we wouldn't see that many Stalkers. Then Raynor, he's piecing it together, but he doesn't know how many gateways there are. He doesn't know how aggressive Hero plans on being. Behind this, Raynor playing very safe. He goes for a Roach Warren and a Bathing Nest, alongside +1 melee. So he does have access to Roaches and Banelings. Raynor cutting workers early on here. Cutting workers at 61. And we have 24 Lings in production. Raynor, he should be okay. He hasn't been too greedy. He's been amassing an army. Even with Blink, these Stalkers are prone to us around. Yeah, good baits. We bait out both stasis traps. And Raynor getting ready to come in from behind. He will collapse on this position. This is going to be a big pick-off here. As Stalkers are going down. We got 3. 3 Stalkers do fall. But remember, Hero, he's going for a 6-gate timing behind this. He's being hyper-aggressive with these Stalkers. Is it enough, though? Does he have enough? So far, good movement. Only 3 Stalkers have gone down to the initial surround. And we're breaking through. We're getting on top of the base. And this hatchery will fall. Again, it wasn't a bad fight for Raynor, but unfortunately just did not have enough. No Roaches to support. Roaches are just now on the way, but we're camping the production. We're camping the eggs. Roach is going to be going down. Raynor going for a big counterattack at the same time. Meanwhile, Hero, he's taking the 4th base behind this army. Well, we get 1. We get 2. We get 2 Stalkers. Big pickups. Every Stalker counts. Bit of miscontrol out of Hero. Wasn't able to blink in time. He does get eyes on the Bailey run by. Aye. In Hero, he's going to respond. He's going to chase this down. Good movement out of Hero. Yeah, every single Bailey going to go down here to energy. Very efficient trade. Lings have been spotted. Hero keeping up with the Ling movement. Does rotate around. Does wall off in time. Now, because of that Bailing run by, Raynor forced Hero to back off. He forced him to back off, and Raynor, he's had time to gather up his forces, produce Roaches, Lings, but he still doesn't have a 4th. That's the scary thing. We need a 4th base. Just now finishes up. Ooh, a rough trade there for Raynor, bleeding out a lot of Lings. A lot of Lings go down. A 5th base is denied. Raynor anticipating a counterattack. At least he does have a 4th. Still not saturated. Raynor, he's still on a low drone count. This is dangerous. Raynor, remember, he cut workers earlier on at 61, and he still hasn't droned. Just now he's droning. But it means that Hero, he has a better economy, and he is soon to surpass him in supply. Raynor, he needs time. He needs time to get back into this. Does need more time, more creep being shut down. You can just see how efficient Hero has been with his trades. Has to recover not to get surrounded. Raynor coming in from multiple angles. Decent stutter stepping here from Hero. Decent kiting. That's what I was looking for. The Oracle's A down on top of the Ravagers. Ravagers are being focused down one after the other. Charge ups coming in as ultra support. Big surround of those Stalkers though. Yeah, really rough trading for Hero. Expensive losses for the Protoss. Bailey's A crash into the Zealots as well. But do we have enough Stalkers? We may just. We may just here as the Lings go down. Reinforcements come in, and Raynor, it took him too long to get his economy up and running. Just now getting up to 72, and Raynor, he is hurting. He's barely reinforcing in time. If Hero didn't get caught out with his Stalkers, if he didn't get surrounded with the Lings earlier, like, he would be able to break through. Like, Hero, he's so close to breaking Raynor. Yeah, reinforcements on the way. Prism has arrived. Raynor, he's up against the wall. Oh, the Bailings! They crash into the Zealots! Big trades. Big connections there with the Bailings. So far, the ideal start for Raynor, but is it enough anyway? Yeah, big stasis here on the Lings. Zealots, they come in to reinforce. Hero, he's taking down a lot of these roaches. A lot of roaches going to be going down, but it's barely not enough. Oof. Ravager piles being dodged. Hero just keeping the pressure up. He's so close to breaking Raynor. It's so close. But those Bailings earlier was brutal. We're brutal here. Disruptors on the way. Let's go. Good stasis trap. Oh, creating a choke point here. Funneling in the army of Raynor. Making it so difficult to push in, to engage. I don't know how I feel about the Disruptor. Like, it's either Colossus or Disruptor. Like, either one would work well here. The Disruptor is a little bit risky, though. It is risky. Wow, does connect. Once again, the charge will take run into Bailings. Once again, but this time we have more Zealots. Forcing the Lings away. Stalker's trading well against the Rich Ravager. Zealots being cleaned up, getting completely surrounded. Oh, and Hero, he's running out of steam. Nova goes off. Grazes the army. Doesn't really trade well. Oh, big stasis traps here from behind. There are so many stasis traps. Oh my god. Catching so much of the army. You can see Hero in a bit of trouble. But more disruptors have arrived. Nova going to be going up. Big connection. Oh my god, massive connection here on the Stalkers. Sorry, on the Queens. The Stalkers, they blink on forward. We dive on top of the army. And have we barely done it? The stasis, they're running out. The Lings are the real MVPs as we do get a surround here. The Stalkers are going down. And Raynor, he's done it. He's destroyed this army. He's cleaned it up. He holds. And now Hero's in a brutal position here. Like, tech-wise, he doesn't have a second Robo. Doesn't have a Stargate. Like, Hero was so aggressive this game. And again, he was so close to killing Raynor. There were a couple of key moments. One was the Bailings connecting with the Zealots. Those Bailings connections, the Bailing connections were huge. The other was Hero getting surrounded in the center of the map. He got surrounded. He lost half his Stalkers. I want to say like 8 Stalkers went down to the surround. There were these 2 key moments. And that did keep Raynor in this. And now he's stabilized. Raynor, he's on 5 bases, soon to be 6. On a good economy. And Hero, he's not built for a late game. Like, he just doesn't have the tech for it. Doesn't have the production. Yeah, Hero in a lot of trouble here. Bailings, they crash in once again with the Zealous Lings. They come in from the left-hand side. We get into the middle line. 9, 10 probes go down. And Raynor, he has done it. He's running away with the Hero, getting on top of the army. And it was so close. But again, those key fights going Raynor's way went a long way for him. Gonna get a kill in the northern base and a kill towards the south. GG gets called and Raynor takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. That was a very close game. Again, Rainer, he was on the brink. He was on the edge. He was almost brought low by Hero. There were a couple of key moments there, and Rainer was able to trade well enough, trade efficiently enough, and survive, and eventually outscale Hero. Again, Hero was very all-in with his playstyle. Very all-in. He had no longevity with this. He had no additional tech on the way, no additional production. He didn't really have anything else behind it. It was all or nothing for Hero. And Rainer is now one game away. Una más, one more, and he will take the series. He will advance on to face off against Cyril in the upper bracket finals. Ooh, here we go. Is so close. So close to taking it. The question becomes, once again though, what does Hero do here on Hecate? Hecate is a very defendable map. Oh boy, aggression isn't really favored on Hecate, so I wonder how Hero approaches this. We can be defensive, we can be very tech heavy, we can get into it. Meanwhile, in the bottom left hand corner, we have Rainer, the Basilisk. And in the top right, we have his opponent, we have Hero for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Go. Now again, Hecate has, as opposed to Oceanborn, as opposed to Golden Aura, Hecate is not quite Golden Aura, as opposed to yeah, even Solaris here. Hecate is so defendable. There are so many choke points in the center of the map, towards your main natural and third bases as well. We have seen a little late game on Hecate as a result, and I wouldn't be opposed to Hero playing a more tech heavy style. What I'm referring to is delaying the Twilight Council, going into heavy robo production, into a death ball of an army. Very Showtime, very creator-esque. We'll see. Meanwhile, Rainer, once again, 15-15. 15 hatch into a 15 spawning pool. A much safer opener here from Rainer. Oh, spawning pool gets delayed for a moment. Only for a second. But yeah, because of the map itself, I'm curious as to how Hero approaches this. I'm sure he is one to take advantage of the map, and Hero has been very aggressive so far this series. Every game he's just been in the face of Rainer, or been trying to be in the face of Rainer. Every single game, non-stop aggression. Game 2 is a bit of a like variation. It's a little bit different, but that's only because he got scattered. It's only because the all-in was scattered from Hero, so he had to like deviate away from it, from his initial plan, which is what happened in Game 2. So here, what do we get in Game 4? What do we get? I wouldn't be opposed to something like a Skytoss Rush either. I know I was talking about like a robo-heavy style. We have seen a lot of success with rushing into carriers or Tempest, investing into like a handful of carriers and Tempest, and then going for ground toss. That is a little bit out of meta. That was very trendy like November, December of last year, but has fallen off quite a bit after December. Ooh, as here we go for the first time this series, Twilight Council opener. Bold move here by Hero, bold move. So there's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, the rush distance by ground on Hecate is actually quite short. It's quite a short rush distance by ground. As we mentioned though, there's a lot of like defensive capabilities that help you out here on Oceanborn. Sorry, Hecate is what I meant to say. On Hecate, is the ramps, the choke points as well. We have not pulled out a... Okay, there we go. I'm like, we haven't pulled out a gas. We now pull out a gas. It is going to be Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts here by Hero. Now, what kind of variation of Glaive Adepts is the real question? Do we go 4-gate Glaives, 6-gate Glaives, or do we go even 4-gate Glaives into DTs? I'm curious as to how Hero does bring this forward. There are more aggressive and all-in variations. There are more economic variations as well. For now, it's going to be 4 gateways. There we go, 4 gates in total. And we'll keep an eye on Hero, as 4-gate Glaives should lead into a third base, should lead into an expansion. So Dev's going to be dipping in between the bases, running mineral lines. Now from here we should be expanding, or we could even go into something like a Templar, no Templar Archives, into a Robotics Bay, into Disruptor production. That's also on the table. You want Raynor going for a 4-minute Roach Warren, very nicely timed. Raynor, he does respond beautifully here against a Twilight Council opener. He's aware. It's a very safe play out of Raynor. That means that Roaches will come out in time. It's going to be all about the positioning and the execution. We'll see if Raynor can keep up with the adept control of Hero. Adepts have been confirmed. We have a couple of safety Spore Crawlers on the way, just in case it's DTs. Just in case Dark Templar are incorporated. So, solid defense so far by Raynor. So he waddles on in. Zones away those Adepts. Yeah, there are Lings keeping up with the Shade as well. And we commit! We commit to the Shade. Lings are going to be going down, but so far, a good trade. And we get on top of the Prism! No shot, the Prism goes down. A big loss there for Hero. No more reinforcements. Prism is being remade. We do break through the Lings, though. We are getting damage done. But no more reinforcements. What you see is what you get. Roaches are coming out. We're trying desperately to get into that mineral line. Ooh, as we commit to the Shade, we head towards the third base. There's nothing here. There's nothing at the third. Only 3 workers go down. And we were looking for more. We were hoping for more damage. Hero backs off. I mean, he has to again. There's no reinforcements here. The Prism just now on the way. And here come a wave of Adepts. We can still try to keep this up. Oh, the Ursadak went down. Another wave of reinforcements on the way. We get a high energy Queen. Oh, the Queens are falling. Good pickups here from Hero. Gets 1 Queen. Doesn't commit to the Shade. Behind this, he's getting into Immortal production. No, he gets surrounded! No shot, the Immortal. It's gonna go down. Boys, not quite pulled here. A big loss there for Hero. Hero in the main base, shaking his head for a moment. He still has potential. We're running out of Lings. We're getting on top of the drones. Oh my god. A lot of workers are going down as we recall back home. And that was much better. So in total, I believe 11 drones. 11 drones fell. It was 11 workers and a Queen. Queen and a couple of Roaches, and of course Lings. So wasn't a bad trade from Hero. Losing the Prism was huge. Did force him to, or did delay a lot of momentum. Hero, though, now focusing on his next step. Building up Immortals, Sentries, Robotics Bay is on the way, and there's that third base. The game will continue from here. Thankfully, even though Hero lost his Prism, because he killed so many workers, he's still in this. He's still in this. And Disruptors are a bit of a Hail Mary play. This Prism, this eventual Disruptor drop is, yeah, gonna be a bold move here from Hero. Hoping to catch back up and hoping to gain a lead even. As we are pushing out across the map. No Ravagers. That means Force Fields are going to be quite effective here in this attack. There we go, Ravagers now on the way. Sentries have been revealed. A lot of Lings have been going down. Clean up the Lings. We throw down the Force Fields. We catch a Queen. Good pickups here from Hero. Oh my god, these Immortals trading so well against this. The Force Fields are popping up. As Roaches are getting caught one after the other. We commit to the Shade. We shade into the natural base. 8 drones go down in an instant. And Raynor, he's being pulled apart. He lost a big chunk of Roaches to the army. The Immortals, they survive. And we are still going ham here on the drones. 11 workers go down. Raynor being pulled completely apart here. Initially, he had a good start to the defense. But the Adepts, they still got damage done nonetheless. Again, Hero, he has killed players like Dark, Solar, and even Raynor with Glaive Adepts before, and he will do it again. The Glaive spot. Like it's 2020. Never goes up! Oh, good splits. We get 2 Roaches. But again, Hero, he does have the supply lead. He has a lot of potential with these Disruptors. Remember, Hero, he even lost an Immortal, by the way. Like, this was a shaky start from Hero. He lost the Prism, lost the Immortal. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even need the Immortal. As he pushes towards the base and never goes up. much better connection, taking down a Ravager. Adepts come in from behind. We collapse on this army. And GG gets called as Hero will tie this up at 2-2. We're going to the ace match. GG, well played. GG, as Hero does pull it off here. Again, initially he had a rocky start. It was a rocky start for Hero. And maybe because of that, Raynor was a little bit too confident. Fun fact, after Raynor killed and sniped that Prism, he wasn't making any more links. He had stopped link production, he was focusing on roaches instead, and that meant that he couldn't actually keep up with the shades, and Hero was still gaining value and still out-positioning Raynor because of his mobility, because Raynor was just making roaches, and we saw that Hero was able to achieve a lot despite not having reinforcements, despite losing his Prism. Impressive, very impressive stuff. And he followed that up with a 2-base all-in. I did see a comment in the chat, is Glaive Adepts all in? It is not. And we saw a 3rd base behind it. 4-gate Glaives is just an aggressive opener. But Hero followed it up with Immortal Production with Sentries with an all-in follow-up, which did catch Raynor off guard. And again, impressive that it worked anyway, despite Hero even losing his first Immortal. That was a big moment. Hero losing an Immortal that early on is huge. Imagine how easier that game would have been with a 3rd Immortal. Despite that though, Raynor just wasn't able to keep up, lost far too much of the Adepts, and we're going to the ace match. It goes all the way to game number 5. And the question becomes, what build do we see in game 5? Every single game, which is what we expected. Hero has done something different every single game so far. He has so many builds up his sleeve, so many more builds that he won't even showcase here tonight, as he has so many more available for future series. And what do you have for us? What do you have here in game number 5? As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta, we have our Italian Zerg player Raynor, the Basilisk. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have Hero for CranKy Gaming. Shouldn't be a surprise. Once again, Raynor going for a 15-15. Very safe opener here out of Raynor. Hero back at home, setting up his gate expand. And now we get to indulge in Site Delta. Site Delta is an interesting map. It's very wide. It's very wide, like vertically here. There are a lot of bases to be taken, but because of how like wide or long, depending on how you want to look at it, how long it is, if the game goes on longer into the mid to late game, which we haven't really experienced, like this series has been very aggressive, very chaotic. We have yet to really get into a proper late game scenario between these two players. Even a proper mid game, to be honest. Like the one game that went a little bit longer was Hero on Oceanborn, but that was only because like his all-in was scouted, so he had to like pivot away from it. He was just stuck at home. So it was a very different dynamic. But if we do end up in a longer game here, the player with map control has a big advantage. Like these bases are so spread out, they're so far apart, it can be so difficult to actually defend the north and the south at the same time. So things can, you know, swing one way or the other. Likewise, the rush distance by ground isn't actually too long. It can be a little bit deceiving, but there is one big advantage that players have, that is the ramp. This is one of the few maps in the map pool that has a ramp into the natural, so on 2 bases you're pretty well fortified and pretty well set up as a result of that. At least on 2 bases. Your third, more exposed. Unlike some of the other maps out there, there's no ramp leading into the 3rd base, so the 3rd it's much easier to really engage in and really collapse upon. That's where a lot of like timings do hit, and a lot of all-ins hit as well, is the 3rd base. As behind this, we do have a Stargate opener. Once again, it's going to be a Stargate opener. I mean, last game was a Twilight Council. This time it's a Stargate. Should be for Oracle play. Should be, but again, I don't want to rule out the possibility of going for a Void Ray first, because Hero has whipped that out in the past. And again, Hero has done a different build every game so far. And I'm sure that trend will continue, as he's going to be getting across the map. Shading on out. Dipping in between the bases. Does commit to the shade. Bold move. Is going to get a scout. Does confirm the lack of additional gases. And can he get away? Ooh, as he's taking a lot of damage. And up! He barely will. Barely will escape. Again, Hero just confirming that there was no Roach Rush, which we have seen in the past here on Side Delta. Hero is preparing back at home for a third base, for an expand. Are soon to be throwing down that third base, and again we're just keeping an eye on what kind of tech comes out afterwards. Here we're going to be testing the defenses, dipping into the natural. Queens are in position, and the Oracle is going to be zoned away. Likewise, it up shading in towards the main. We do join forces, but the Oracle takes too much damage, and ooh, Hero loses his first Oracle without getting any value. Big pick off, a big loss for Hero. Again, just being a little bit too adventurous across the map. Gets a handful of drones, but this is not worth losing an Oracle. And Hero is going to be on the back foot. That means he has that much less to threaten his opponent. And he will most likely have to rebuild. As I say that, though, he's getting more damage done. Oh my god! Gets 6, 7 drones. Clutch transfuse towards the end there, but 7 workers go down. For 2 adepts and an Oracle. Not ideal, but better. It could have been worse here for Hero. As he persists, and we have a wave of adepts behind this. I believe it's 5 adepts. Yeah, there we go. 5 adepts are on the way to support this army, and we're transitioning into a Forge and Twilight Council. Should be +1 in Blink, but we'll keep an eye on the tech of Hero. Once again, Hero very in the face of Raynor right now. Yes, be careful as he commits to the shade. Not too fond of this. Lings are in position. Adept's going to be going down. Yeah, they will be cleaned up by the Lings. Oracles, they come in to try to support, but again, so much damage was dealt. The Adepts did fall. And once again, Hero, he overstays his welcome, loses another Oracle. This is, again, I'm not too sure if this is quite worth it. Losing 2 Oracles for 12 drones. I mean, putting in that perspective, it's a little bit better. But we've lost all of our Adepts. We've lost the map control. We can see Raynor going for a big Ling counterattack. And we have to remake the Oracles. This is what I do like out of Hero. If Hero, so ideally you cut Oracles at 3. We already have 3. We lost 2. Because we lost 2, we have to remake them. Like, Oracles are so valuable for Protoss players when it comes to scouting, when it comes to harassing, when it comes to supporting your army with stasis traps and the Pulsar Beam. Oracles are crucial, so a 4th Oracle is made just to make sure that we're safe. Behind this, we have a Gateway Explosion. I believe that's going to be 8 gates in total, +1. Charge on the way. Another Oracle goes... Hero! He's been quite careless with his Oracles this game. That's the 3rd Oracle falling. Ay, ay, ay. Stasis Trap doesn't quite connect. His Adepts have been popping off, is what I will say. Overlord comes in. We confirm the Gateway counts. You get eyes on all the gates. It's going to be Charged Archon as the competition of choice. So Charged Archon and Immortal here for Hero. It can be a terrifying army, but upon losing all these Oracles, it does mean that Raynor's free to drone. It does mean that he's free to drone, free to saturate. 13 workers going down in total. Zealots have already hit the field. They have revealed themselves. Raynor now aware. We've got roaches that are amassing. I do like this. Hero basically faking out a push. And as a result, Raynor hasn't droned. Like, honestly, he is free to drone up to 80 right now, and he hasn't. He's been tentative to. So Hero, he reveals his Zealots, fakes his opponent out, backs off, takes a 4th. Hero going to be expanding. Harassing with just Archons. Roaches are in position. We'll see if Hero can stabilize. If he can build up to 4 bases. Think around by getting a read on things. Does get eyes on the charge lots, on the Immortal. Another Oracle goes down! You don't want to be an Oracle this game. You don't want to be an Oracle here, as every single Oracle has fallen. Even upon remaking the 4th Oracle, it fell as well. Said hero gonna be stuck at home. Second Robo's on the way for double immortal production. I mean, Hero is building up a pretty intense army, like a death ball of a Protoss army with charged Archon Immortal. The problem is that he needs time right now, and because he lost all of his oracles, he can't really threaten the economy. Not anymore. He was for quite some time. He was able to, you know, cripple and kill a couple of workers here and there, force army to be made. There is a lot of pressure on Hero right now to try to slow Raynor down, because Raynor is now maxed. He's maxed out. He's on 86 drones. Ooh, dealing quite a bit of hull damage to that Prism. Raynor's looking quite comfortable. The Zealot Rombites have potential, but I believe Raynor for the most part is in position. And Zealots are pulling back. You have Zealots from both ends. You have the Archon drop as well. Working towards Colossi. Again, Hero, he's getting there. He's building up his army. He's slowly maxing out. We are getting into a longer game for the first time. Like a longer back and forth. Where Hero is soon about to catch up in set supply. Raynor stuck on Lingbane Roach Ravager. Does have a hive. The Banelings! Big connections. Big connections on the Zealots. Good trade here from Raynor. None of the oracles predicted their fall. You're an animal, Eistan. You're an animal. Also true. Shaking my head. But yeah, we already have Hive Tech. Vipers are on the way. Vipers are going to be the nail in the coffin, or they're going to be a big part of this next fight. Sure, Hero, he has a lot of high-tech units. He's got Colossus. He's got actually a good amount of Immortals, to be fair. But Vipers will help so much when it comes to shutting down those units. When it comes to sniping those Colossi specifically. Spire is on the way for potentially Mutas or even Broodlords. Or Corruptors, I should say. And both armies are maxing out. And now we can push. How will Hero approach this? Now, when it comes to the armies, Raynor, he doesn't have the ideal army right now. I would say in a head-to-head fight, Hero would win. Oh, as the Prism takes a lot of damage. In a head-to-head fight, Hero does have the advantage here, but we do have Vipers. They can get some yoinks in. Blinding Cloud instead. Oh my god. Colossus not really adding any DPS here. Big engage with the Banelings. Once again, another Blinding Cloud. Raynor instantly remaxing. We have 100 Lings in production. Oh my god. 100 Lings are on the way. Hero continuing his push. The Vipers are out of energy, but this army is so low. It's so bad and it's so bruised. Hero pushing deep onto creep. Lings threaten to dive. A lot of swipes though. A lot of Colossus swipes go off. Hero backing off, waiting for reinforcements. Banelings in production. We have almost, what, 30-ish Banelings for Raynor. We have one Archon to soak it all. Banelings from behind. And we collapse in from behind. We get on top of the Immortals. We get on top of some of these Colossi as well. The Immortal count is going to be reset. We yoink the Prism. We deny the Warp in. And Raynor, he's forcing this back, cleaning this up. Again, there's almost nothing left. The Vipers were the MVPs. The Blinding Clouds were insane for so long. For basically half of the first fight, for most of the first fight, the Colossus were doing nothing. Hero's fighting back. Does shave off some of the Roach Ravager, but behind this, there's no fifth. There's no fifth base. There's no more economy, no greater economy here for Hero. He's working on upgrades, but it takes so long to rebuild a Robo army. It takes so long to rebuild Colossus and Immortals. And Hero doesn't have the money for it. That's the problem. He just doesn't have the money for that to rebuild that army. Not anymore. That's why there's no additional Colossus or Immortals in production. Hero doesn't have the gas. Rainer remaxing, rolling in once again. It was a back and forth. Did go all the way to the ace smash, but Bailings are rolling in. They're going for the army. Storm is not done. Storm not quite done here. We throw down some feedbacks. Overcharge holding on. We yoink the Colossus. The final Colossus does go down. And we deny the warp in. The pylon goes down. The warp in is denied. And we have broken this space. We've broken the economy. Hero with almost nothing left. Comes in with some zealots. Our boys are being pulled. We're doing whatever we can here to try to hold on. We can maybe clean up these Ravagers. They're quite exposed. Yeah, the Ravagers are being cleaned up. But again, Rainer, he can just back off and remax. He has a bank. They went to town on those Ravagers. Oh my god. But here he's down to 3 bases. Down to barely a 2-base economy at this point. Barely 2 bases. Again, Hero just had a really shaky start, trying to get into his 4-base economy, losing so many oracles, losing control of the map. Rainer, he was free to just do whatever he wanted. And Rainer, he is snowballing out of control. He is looking to face off against his teammate. Looking to face off against Cyril in the upper bracket finals. Hero going for a last-ditch effort, going for a final push. Ah, the power bomb takes down the prism. Does bring it down. Blinding Cloud's going to be thrown down as well. Oof, the Biles connecting with the Zealots. At the same time, a big Link counterattack and 10 probes went down. Looks like it was a bailing run by. Again, Hero, he's all in. It's all or nothing. The Bailings, they crash into the Zealots. And we have the Road Ravager for everything else. We do see Hero breaking through, but the Bailings, they finish up just in time. And yeah, it's just a numbers game at this point. Hero, he's just running out of money, running out of supply. Nothing left. There's 3 immortals, now 2, now 1. And soon to be none. GG gets called. Rainer will take the series at 3-2 and will advance on to face off against Cyril in the upper bracket finals. GG. GG, well played. Again, it was much more dynamic than the previous series where Cyril did 3-0. So a solid back and forth there between Rainer and Hero, and we had some really interesting games. I'm not convinced by the Oceanborn game. It was the first time we saw Hero go for a 1-1-1, go for a triple forge, which was crazy. It didn't work. Did not work. I appreciate the creativity, though. I appreciate the creativity. As we're going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Cell versus Rainer coming up next in a best of 7 upper bracket finals. See you soon. Huh.
大家好，我是星际争霸2世界冠军李培南。作为职业选手，每天大部分时间都是在电脑前度过。每次训练结束都会有不同程度的腰酸背痛，所以我们对电竞椅的要求都非常严格，能保护腰部并且坐感舒适，成为我们挑电竞椅的重要指标。我们一直在用的奥风电竞椅就完美做到这一点。升级的锥背小弹腰有足够的支撑力，并且上下前后都能调节，坐着很舒服，非常适合大家玩游戏的时候使用。不论用什么姿势，正坐、靠着、躺着。 腰托都可以支撑我的腰部，非常舒服。再来坐感，这款还配置了空调坐垫，夏天凉爽，冬天温暖，真的是跟空调一样精准控温。训练久了总觉得闷热，坐垫有3档风度调节，游戏再也不闷屁股了。现在天气转凉了，坐垫同样配置了3档加热功能，让身体一直保持温暖，游戏手感一直火热。训练之余刷刷手机休息一下，玩玩手游。6D 机械手臂可以自调节高度，手臂不会感觉累。同时扶手面很大，即使有大动作也不会落空。相信我，跟我一起选择奥风机械大师电竞椅，你也可以逆袭。 成为冠军。
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”， 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号， 365天，每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷地享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the final series of the night, to a ZVZ between Cyril and Rainer. Let's go. Arguably some of the best, or the best Zerg players in the world, going to be facing off to determine who makes it to the grand finals and who has to work their way through the lower bracket instead. As a reminder, no one here has been eliminated yet. Everyone here that has played tonight is still in the tournament, even Maru and Hero, and even the loser of this series, because there is a lower bracket. There is a lower bracket, so plenty more days of Master Coliseum to come, plenty more matches, plenty more players. So bear that in mind. As, again, we're going to be diving into a best of 7, not a best of 5, so it's going to be a bit of a longer series, ideally more of a back and forth, and Cyril and Rainer, they have quite a history with each other. They are the best Zerg players of their respective region, and again, arguably the world. And clearly, Dark, of course, has something to say about that. But for now, we are, of course, referring to these two players, and Cyril has been known to have a bit of a weak point in his overall playstyles or his matchups. ZVZ is typically where upsets can happen, and where Cyril can show weakness. But at the same time, Cyril is aware of this, has been working on it. I'm sure actively working on his ZVZ and has been shoring it up. And that is reflected in recent times, as we have seen Cyril take down Solar. He's been able to take down Solar a little bit more frequently, a little bit more regularly, ever since kind of the stint where he was struggling against him. So really cool to see Cyril just, again, growing and adapting as a player, refining and adjusting his skill. Specifically in ZVZ, we have seen Cyril be more divisive and more aggressive. For a long time, Cyril, he used to be the reactive player in ZVZ, and he would just focus on scouting and play a standard game. But recently, he's been the one to cut workers. He's been the one to make roaches at like weird timings and catch his opponent off guard and go for these big, strong all-ins. Like, Cyril has been doing an amazing job here at adjusting and being the aggressor in ZVZ. Likewise when it comes to scouting as well. So even though Cyril is known for being like a macro monster in a lot of matchups, like that has been changing over time, and he's been kind of spreading his wings and spreading his horizons, and it's been really cool to see Cyril embrace like another side of himself. Oh boy, which makes him that much more terrifying in this matchup. Does make him that much more terrifying here. Likewise, Rainer typically is more active overall. He's always kind of been like the yin to the yang of Cyril, where Cyril was always like the macro beast and Rainer was more chaotic and aggressive and active. And there's been a bit of a role reversal recently. I know Rainer has been very vocal, saying that he has been focusing a lot more on macro play. He has been improving his own like macro games and late game a lot over the past year of play as well. So both players have been working on kind of what they have been as known for. And just, yeah, improving a lot more as a player. So it's been really cool to see them both grow, and we'll see how this all turns out. The ZVZ, it's going to be chaotic and going to be hard to call. In general, I do favor Cyril. I do favor Cyril over Rainer, but I'm thinking like, maybe like 60-40, you know, like even if I would say that Cyril's favored, still not like a clear favorite is the thing. And Rainer, he's always a terrifying beast in his own right, and this shouldn't be a 4-0 is what I'm getting at. I'm going to be shocked if this is going to be a 4-0 in favor of either player. This should be more of a back and forth, and we should be able to dive into and sink our teeth into this series a little bit more. I would hope so. I would hope so. I would hope so. So for now, we're just going to be lying in wait here, just waiting for our players to prepare themselves. I assume that we'd be ready a little bit sooner. I have predictions ready to go. I have the predictions ready. But looks like our players just need a little bit more time. It could also be due to latency as well. If you remember, there was some issues when it came to connecting to players' webcams in the Hero series. Some issues when so there was maybe we just want to make sure that we can clear that up as well. Just making sure. God, we had a timer earlier. But regardless, when it comes to some of the other matches that are going to be ongoing, let me just quickly double check because there have been some updates in the bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat. Ooh, and we have the lower bracket matches as well. They're going to be tomorrow. So if you're curious, today we determine who makes it to the grand finals. Tomorrow are going to be some elimination matches in the lower bracket. It's going to be Hero versus Solar and Maru versus Dark. Oh boy. The Korean on Korean action tomorrow. Some really good matches, some really good series. Can't wait to get into that. I believe tomorrow, I think it's only going to be 2 best ofs. I think it's only going to be Hero and Solar tomorrow. Yeah, only two. And the day after will be the lower bracket semifinals. We may have some show matches. In the past, Master Coliseum, they have been, willing to like embrace and have some fun and have some show matches here and there, like some team league show like some like 2v2 show matches or like free for alls and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely certain as to the schedule, but we may embrace that later on. Because there are going to be 2 more days left. 2 more days. So bear that in mind. The other big thing is that we're going to be casting Master Coliseum every day, of course, except for Saturday. The second last day of Master Coliseum, we will be busy casting the House Open Cup. Sorry, the House Galactic Battle. That is an offline LAN event in Poland. So we're going to be covering that instead for the entire day. It's going to be a day-long event. Expect like a 14 to 16 hour cast. As LANs usually are. Like a very long event on Saturday. So we will be missing Saturday, the second last day of Master Coliseum live, but we will be catching up. We're going to be having a catch-up cast before the finals. Before the finals, we will be going live, going over those matches, so we can catch up leading into the final day of Master Coliseum on Sunday. That's the plan, at least. That is going to be the plan. So we're going to be missing the second last day live. We're going to be catching up just before the finals. Just before those finals, just as a heads up. And again, we aren't missing it because we can't cast. Now we're going to be casting, just we have other commitments. We have other commitments to other events. Again, we have close ties to the Polish scene. Got a lot of love for the people over in Polonia. So we're getting there. We'll be getting there. Looks like we have quite a long delay though, so I may just cut to another short break. There's no timer, so I don't know what the holdup is, and I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we can catch our players and conduct our vetoes and everything. So maybe Rainer's asking for a short break. So we're gonna be going on a short break here, and when we return, we'll have our final series. Hopefully it won't be too long. See you soon. Yeah, watch me cut to like the break screen and then bam, they show up. Good. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We have our players and vetoes have concluded, and we shouldn't see no real surprise here, to be honest. Several vetoed Equilibrium, Rainer vetoes Radisson Station, and welcome back, everyone, to the upper bracket finals of Mass Coliseum 7, the third day of the playoffs. Here we go. And again, we are here to determine who makes it to the grand finals between these two amazing Zerg players in this best of 7. Again, only one veto each here, and the most standard of vetoes, both Equilibrium and Radisson Station, are some of the more unorthodox maps in the map pool. The two most vetoed maps in the map pool, and we do get rid of them, and we'll be indulging in everything else. Oh boy, here we go. We're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Cyril for Basilisk. And in the bottom left, we have going for a 15-15, because of course he is. It is Rainer for Basilisk as well. It is a Basilisk team kill. Let's go. And again, just to reiterate, Rainer has been very fond of the 15-15, has been going for it in every single matchup against Terran, against Protoss, against Zerg. He loves it. He loves it, Bobby. It's again a very stylistic choice here from Rainer, but it does mean something different in every matchup. Big shout out to the sponsors, of course, to Doyu, Honkai Star Rail, Biu Biu, Autofool, and all the others. Going to be a standard hatch gas pool here out of Cyril as we load into Alcyone. Again, a much larger map. One of the largest maps in the map pool does lead to a lot of longer macro play. And before I get ahead of myself, predictions, Gamba in the chat. If you want to get your Gamba on, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think takes this series, who you think takes this best of 7. Best of luck. Best of luck, man. Now, when it comes to the 15-15 here in ZVZ, this can lead into 2-base Roach. It can lead into Roach play because your gases are so delayed. We'll see how long Rainer delays his gases as he is now going to be taking them. So he's going to have a disadvantage when it comes to link speed timing, when it comes to the Bailey Nest as well. So again, that's why this typically leads into 2-base Roach. But on a map as large as Alcyone, we'll see. We'll see if we do cut some corners and play 2-base, or if we do just catch up when it comes to those upgrades. Behind this again, so just going for a standard opener himself. Gonna be moving on out. When it comes to Alcyone, there are a lot of bases to be taken. There's the goal base as well over on the right hand side that we can rush into. We have seen some Zerg players take the goal base in ZVZ as the natural or even the third, but we can see that here the openers are relatively standard and we're not going for any kind of crazy gold shenanigans. Not yet, at least. Not in this series. That's a big reason as to why Equilibrium was vetoed as well. That gold can really make things chaotic, and we want to get rid of it. Want to make sure that the gold isn't going to be a factor in a lot of these games. Speaking of, Cyril now taking his third. Rainer should soon be taking his as well. As we see, Rainer, he's still just working on his gases. Link speed already halfway down for Cyril, still on the way for Rainer, which is why usually we would play 2-base, and there it is. We are playing 2-base Roach, which is typically where this opener takes us from the side of Rainer, just because of how late the gases are. So we're going to be walling off on 2 bases with the Evo Chamber, with the Roach Warren as well. Cyril has identified this. He has the base advantage, so Cyril has more gas income, he has the faster third base, and is now getting ready to wall off as well. Now, Cyril is skipping his Bailey Nest because he believes that his opponent is doing the same. And he believes that Rainer is also not getting link speed, and he's correct. Cyril doesn't need the Bailey Nest, so he skips it, and he won't be punished for it. This is where mind games come in, and there are some Zerg players that open up the way that Rainer has, and they still go for link speed, and they go for a link flood, hoping to catch the defending Zerg player off guard because they skip their Bailey Nest. That is not the case this time. This time it's just straight up 2-base Roach out of Rainer. Meanwhile, we can see Cyril, setting up for +1 Carapace. Okay, so +1 Carapace typically leads into a Roach Ling aggression, like almost an all-in from the side of Cyril, where you can just amass an amount of Roaches and Lings and be hyper-aggressive with it. It's very strong timing with +1 Carapace. +1 range is for a bit of a longer game. Rainer, he's setting up for eventually +2 range, building up a Roach army. So Cyril is planning on being the aggressor, and you can see that reflected in the drones. Cyril, he has not made a worker in quite some time. He's amassing Lings and Roaches right now. Cutting workers at 38, third base now on the way for Rainer. Looks like Cyril was expecting a push, and if Rainer does push, he's going to get shut down. Raynor, he's going to get completely shut down if he moves out across the map. So I do worry for him. Roaches are building up. Cell does confirm. Does confirm the Roach army. Still no drones. And this is what we spoke about at the start of the game. Remember, at the start of the series, I was talking about how Serral has been really working on being the aggressor in ZVZ. How he used to be all about macro, and nowadays he does go all in. This is a good example. Serral is all in. He's all in here, flooding across the map with Roaches and Lings. Lings, they avoid the main attack path. And with the long way around, third base is going to be avoided. We're going straight for the natural. And we're looking to bust down this wall. +1 range will finish. But what about everything else? As for now, we are going to be forcing the army back. Serral moving out, still very committed. And so far, really good positioning here from Raynor. He does fully wall off. And he is wedged in between his mineral lines. In between his mineral patches. And Serral, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Raynor. Raynor, he has a better economy. He's building up more roaches. Has good SimCity. Serral's in a bit of trouble here. Like, he needs to go sooner rather than later. He's waiting for his Ravagers. He's waiting for his Ravagers and will soon collapse on this base. He should get a kill on at least a third, but he needs more than just a third. As here we go. He does push on forward. Bile's going to be connecting. They do crash into the Roaches. Big connections. We get a surround. And likewise, the Roach army. There's no way out here for Raynor. The Biles, they will connect. And Serral, he will clean this up. He will clean this up completely. Soloing up the Roaches. Shuts down the third base. He butts into the natural as well. SimCity was not good enough. And Serral, he does snowball out of control. He will be starting this game off, this series off, with a win. GG. Serral takes game number 1. GG. Well played. Again, Serral being very decisive here, going for a big 2-base all-in, cutting workers at 38. And I love that he actually sent his Lings around the edge of the map, hiding them from Raynor. Raynor, despite having a really good position early on, he exposed himself. He did expose himself when he decided to move his Roaches towards that third base. I don't think Raynor realized how all-in Serral really was, as Raynor technically could afford to just give up his third base and defend on 2 bases. He risked it. He decided to move out. Got caught with his pants down. GG. GG, well played. A solid game there out of Serral. Raynor, again, just wasn't fully aware of how committed and how aggressive Serral was. How all-in he was. And with that, Serral takes a 1-0 lead. But it's a best of 7. It is a best of 7. Plenty more games to come. Plenty of opportunities for Raynor to come back. Plenty of opportunities. And again, this is how Serral has been beating Solar recently. Like, if you've been watching Serral versus Solar, their rematches, Serral has been the one in the driver's seat. He has been the one dictating the pace of the game. And likewise, doing the same here against Raynor as well. So mirror matchups can be really difficult because of that. Both players have kind of like the same tools to work with, but like that's why the builds are so important here. The builds, the scouting, the droning. There's a lot of mind games that kind of come into mirror matchups, and here we go. Spawning in the top right hand corner, we have Serral for Basilisk. And in the bottom left, 15-15, once again, it is Raynor for Basilisk as well. Here we go. So again, shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to be another 15-15 opener from Raynor. Now, as we mentioned in the last game, this doesn't have to lead into Roaches. This typically leads into 2-base Roach, but we have seen Raynor open up in such a manner, prioritize gases, and still get into Lings behind this. Into Ling main. So this more naturally leads into 2-base Roach play, but again, you don't have to go into 2-base Roach. I wouldn't be opposed to Raynor rushing into Ling speed, faking out 2-base Roach, and Ling flooding. Like, that's definitely on the cards and on the table for Raynor. At some point in this series. Even if he doesn't do it this game, you know, later on down the line, he can whip it out. It's a really good way to play with the series as well. Like, if you open up 15-15, like 3 games in a row, and you open up 2-base Roach 3 games in a row, it's game 4 where you like can catch them off guard with the Ling flood. So again, that can be where the mind games kick in. for now. Nothing too major is going on. I believe the Gas Geyser is a little bit faster this game from Raynor. So I imagine he will be going into Link speed this time. We'll see. Cell's just droning. Overlords are moving out, getting an eye on each other, getting a read on what the other is up to. As Serral should be investing into that Link speed. Like that +1 carapace timing as well from Serral last game is another really good way to make use of all those speedlings. Because your army mainly does consist of speedlings, just with some Roach Ravager to support. It's a good way to make use of kind of the tools that he had at his disposal. Based on that rally, it looks like 2-base Roach once again. As Raynor is going to be maneuvering his drones over and is going to be starting up his wall. At least it did look to be the case. I think it was just the Queen moving though. We're going to be pushing away that Overlord. Serral should soon be working on his 3rd base. And we'll see what direction Raynor does take us in. First Overlord does go down. Good pick up here from Raynor. Does supply block Serral. Ooh, quite a supply block. There's that Eva chamber that we spoke about, and Raynor does skip Link speed again for the 2nd game in a row. So for the 2nd game in a row, Raynor is opening up with 2-base Roach. Now from here, technically he could go into a faster lair and go into 2-base Muta. Speaking of 2-base Muta, Serral, he himself opens up with a very fast lair, and he himself skips Link speed. So this is a really good way to kind of take advantage of the situation and to kind of meet your opponent where they're at. Oh my god. As Raynor's going for carapace. Okay, Raynor going to be mixing it up here. We have a bit of a role reversal. So Raynor investing in carapace instead, which will benefit his Lings. I wonder if we're going to be getting later Ling speed here. Yep, there it is. Ling speed is on the way. So basically, this is very similar to Serral's playstyle in game 1. +1 carapace, as we saw, leads into a Ling Roach all in. Or a Ling Roach time. Mainly all in. But you can, you know, expand out of it and drone out of it. But it's like +1 carapace benefits your Ling so much. They take extra hits to go down when you're up against Roaches. They're more tanky. So are your Roaches as well. So this is going to be a very committed attack from Raynor with mass Ling and with some Roach Ravager to support it. Meanwhile, Serral is opening up 2-base Roach. So very similar to the previous game, but the roles have been reversed. And this, because of Raynor's opener, is going to be a surprise. This is designed to catch Serral off guard, because the last thing he would expect is a Ling flood. When you open up 2-base Roach, you expect Roaches. Meanwhile, big Overseer scouts. Serral, he needs to get a read on Ling speed. If he sees the spawning pool researching, he will realize what's going on, and he will be able to prepare. Dips in, gets eyes on the lair at least. On the later lair timing. But I don't think that's going to be quite enough. Yeah, we don't see the spawning pool, we don't see the Lings in between the bases. As we just amassing more and more Lings. Roach on the way as well. Raynor getting ready for his push, and he does pull the trigger. Moving out a little bit ahead of time. Serral now aware. Good positioning here on the ramp. Very good positioning here by Serral. As Raynor does rotate around towards the 3rd base, trying to get us around. But he will be forced back. So far, good positioning, good defense here. I'm waiting for the droning, because so far, no one has droned. Both players have cut workers at 44. Serral is the first to make workers. This is dangerous. 4 workers is okay. If he makes any more, then he could be caught off guard, because Raynor is all in. The more drones we make, the more danger we're going to be in here. As Serral, he makes 1 extra drone. We have +2 range on the way. Overlords were forced back earlier. Raynor is committed. Gets another Overlord. Serral again in a bit of trouble here. He does have the defender's advantage. He's ahead of the economy. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for Serral, but he is supply blocked. Another Overlord goes down. Well, the reinforcing Overlords are late. We can see Raynor getting ready for a surround. He has Lings from behind. They're going to be threatening the army. Raynor pushing in from the left-hand side. Lings, they collapse. Yeah, they come in from behind. They lock down the army. The Biles, they will connect. They connect with the Queens. They connect with the Roach Ravager as well. big connections. But with these reinforcements, Cyril, he works his way through the Lings. Lings are slowly falling. He's getting some of the Ravagers. Ravagers are going down. Big pickoffs here. Big losses for Raynor. Another Roach does fall. And Raynor, he needed to get more damage done. He needs to end the game here and now, and he doesn't. He's forced back. And Cyril still has the better droning, the better economy. Still has the better worker count. And he's working on +2. +2 range is about to finish for the next fight. Raynor, he backs off and he's still all in. He still refuses to make any more workers. Raynor, he's still all in. At least he retained some of the Ravagers. He did retain that Ravager count at least a little bit. He's rebuilding. Working on the second attack. And again, if he locks down the army, if he connects with those biles, he can still kill Cyril. It's still very close. Ooh. Biles, they connect with the eggs. Lings from behind, they try to dive into the natural. They will! They do bust in. Lings into the main base. Queen gonna get surrounded. Chaos is ensuing. Drones are going down. A lot of economic damage here. And we're going for the base. We're going for the main. Cyril, can he hold on? It looks like he should. He should barely be able to hold on. Should clean up those Lings. But once again, we get into the natural for a second time. Cyril out of position. The wall was not a wall. And Raynor finally is finding the damage that he's been looking for. Now, what's dangerous, though, is that Raynor, he's trading out Lings, and Cyril has a massive army. And here we go. He's triggering a counterattack. Now, suddenly, Cyril is all in. He lost 10 workers. His economy has been crippled. Raynor has been droning. And now Raynor's in trouble. As Cyril, he gives up on his third base. And he's focusing on his push. He has +2. Does have +2, but he's on a timer. The Biles, oh, they do miss. They do not connect. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. And good kiting so far from Cyril. Killing so many workers. He's getting on top of the army as well. It looks like he has enough. The Lings, they come back, but there's only a handful of Lings, and this counterattack is too much. GG gets called. Cyril, he's able to pop off with his counterattack with the counter all in, and Cyril takes game number 2. GG. GG, well played. Cyril getting away with squeezing out a couple of extra workers there amidst the all-in. Was able to squeeze out with a better economy, build up a larger roach count, and that first failed attack was the moment that, again, the writing was kind of on the wall. Raynor, he did achieve quite a lot with his Ling run-by when he was able to slip into the main and the natural. He did kill a lot of workers, but remember, he was trading out his army, and he wasn't rebuilding it. He was droning. He was working on a lair, he was working on +1 range, and he was droning up. He droned up to 51. All things that he just could not get away with because he forced the all-in out of Cyril, and Raynor just wasn't ready for it. So far, really good decision-making from Cyril. Despite losing so much, he knew that it was go time. He knew that he only had one chance to win that game. That was to attack. He did pull it off. So a good start here from Cyril. Meanwhile, I do appreciate that Raynor did mix it up, and I did really like the build overall from Raynor here in game number 2. It was a really good way to, again, play with the series and play with expectations. I do think that he pulled the trigger a little bit too soon when he moved out with his Lings. I do think he could have had a slower approach, and he could have revealed them a little bit later. He did give Cyril a lot of foresight, or a bit of a heads up, to be ready for that all-in. Cyril was able to prepare just in time. And here we go, in the top left-hand corner, we have Cyril for Basilisk. And in the bottom right, we have Raynor, also for Basilisk. Let's go. Ooh, for the first time this series, no extractor trick. For the first time this series, Raynor is going for a hatch gas pool standard opener. Let's go. Now, a big reason for this is the map. Going for a greedy or like a 15-15 on a map like Golden Aura feels a little bit risky here. I don't think there's much of a reason to play safe in such a manner, and in a way, we're going to be able to get into our hatch first for both players. Standard opener this time. Raynor, he's had enough of the 15-15. And again, I appreciate it as well. I do think that in ZVZ it's a little bit predictable, just because 2-base Roach is like 80% of the time the follow-up, and you're telegraphing your build so much to your opponent. And Cyril, he knows what he can get away with. He can take advantage of you as a result. He knows he can be droning and be greedy. Now with this hatch gas pool, something that we've been avoiding this entire series is Ling Bane, and that's what we're going to be getting into. Ling Bane aggression should be upon us here from both players. Like, these first 2 games have been all about the Roaches and the Ravagers. Here in Game 3, it's going to be about the Ling Bane, as neither player can skip it now. Neither player has the option. If you do, you can die. Can be the death of you in a ZVZ in this kind of situation. Overlord's going to be moving out. He's scouting the opposing player. Going to be confirming the hatch first. It's important here for Cyril to confirm this, just because Raynor has been going for 15-15s every game so far. And now that he's deviated, that much more important for Cyril to recognize that. Here we go. We are just going to be joining on up. Link speed is on the way. Same time for both players. And we should be seeing Baneliness thereafter, alongside a third base. Speaking of, third base on the way. Fastest third base here for Raynor the entire series. Let's go. Yo, you can tell. He's listening to his rap. He's rapping, but he's getting in the zone. Let's go. The Italian rap is blaring. Third base being taken. Baneliness on the way for both players. And again, that Ling Bane aggression that we talked about is soon to be upon us. Gonna come down to the control, and to how hard our players commit to it. How many leagues will we make? How much will we commit? As here we go, Raynor making a wave of 10 lings. 10 lings on the way. We'll see if we commit a little bit harder. As Raynor is a little bit supply blocked. That Overlord is late here for Raynor. So won't be able to reinforce. Baneling's going to be on the way. He may have to take a more defensive position instead. As we can see, Cyril working up towards his Roach Warren. Baneling on the way. Cyril already working on the next step. Raynor is moving out. Very aggressive warp in. Morph in there for that Baneling. And he will get on top of that base. But again, Cyril, he's here to force us back. As long as we control well, we shouldn't lose anything. Shouldn't lose our Banelings. Not prematurely. Raynor going to be rotating around towards that third. So far, Cyril keeping up. Roaches are in production. And we are just backing off here. The Ling Bane aggression has subsided. Again, if Raynor didn't get supply blocked, then maybe he would have committed a little bit more. But instead, we're just going to be backing off and getting into Roach versus Roach. Ling Bane has ended. And we are just going to be joining up, saturating our 3 bases. Again, this 3-base setup is very well fortified on Goldenrod. It's very difficult to break, even with Roaches, even with Roach armies. The 4th base is a little bit more exposed, and you can like pull your opponent apart. As we can see, Raynor, he's showing his army, he's moving out, but he's droning behind this. So he's trying to force an overreaction out of Cyril. This is a big part of ZVZ, is revealing your army. Because everyone has overlords everywhere, you can use vision against your opponent. We have Lings coming from the right-hand side. They do slip in, and they're going to surround on the Queen. The Queen will survive. Lings, they get into the main base as well. 2 drones go down. 2 workers do fall, so good trade here from Raynor. Like Lings, they get outscaled here, so getting some drone kills is a very nice moment for him. And he backs off with his Roaches, because again, he was droning up this entire time. Meanwhile, Cyril likewise keeping up with his worker count. Layers are finishing up. Roach speed is on the way. Ooh, Raynor skipping Roach speed, going straight for a Spire. Bold move. The Banelings! Oh no! Oh my god, they slipped into the main base. 5 workers go down. Good connections here from Cyril, and just like that, Cyril takes a massive economic lead. And he's not done. We have Dropperlords on the way. Overlord speed as well. Bane drop soon to be upon us. Now, what's very important here, not the bailing drops, but their scouting. I mean, we can get some economic damage done, but if they get into the natural, then we will get eyes on the Spire. So far, Cyril's in the dark. So far, he doesn't know of the Spire play. Oh, as I say that, safety Hydra then being thrown down here for Cyril Papi. I mean, as we're confirming here, he hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen the Spire, but if you were here for his series against Solar, a couple of days ago, or last week, oh, was he cancelled? Never mind. I was about to say that very often, Cyril, he does go for safety Hydra dens, and there it is. Yeah, the Hydra repositioned in the main base, a much safer position, but he kept going Hydras against Solar, and just to have the tech, just so he can be ready for mutas. And even if there wasn't a Spire, even if there wasn't mutas, he just wouldn't make any Hydras, but he would always have it. It was really cool to see. Really cool to see that style against Solar, and Overseer comes in. We confirm the Spire. We know we need those Hydras. Mutas are on the way, so will those Hydras. They're going to be on the way as well. So again, really good scouting here out of Cyril. Really good preparation with that tech. Overlord's going to be coming in. And so far, all the bailings. The drones are going to be pulled away, at least at the third base. We crash into the gas geysers. 3 workers go down. At the same time, ooh, the drop lord into the main didn't go in. There was a moment, there was an opportunity there, definitely. Did not go in. Mutas have been revealed. Hydras are in production. Looks like Cell was just waiting for a more opportune moment for that dropper lord. Mutas, they get some damage done. 3 drones. 3 drones do go down. Not bad. Not bad at all. Slings do slip in. Drop Lord's still in position. We have Tunneling Claw Roaches on the way here for Raynor. Let's go. Oh, for both players, actually. Burrow on the way. Hydras, of course, in the mix. Now, we have to be careful not to make too many Hydras. It's only going to be a handful of Hydras here. We're still hyper-fixated on Roach Ravager production, as Hydras are only necessary to deal with those mutas. And we have done with the mutas. Oh, right, it was Roaches, not Bailing. Makes sense. Roach drop into the main base. We pick off a queen, we pick off a couple of drones. Not bad. Dealing a blow to the economy here of Raynor. Raynor going to be moving out. Cyril taking up towards Lurkers. I mean, he has the Hydra tech, so why not take up into Lurkers? That is going to be ideal. Still focused on Roach production. So far, we're keeping up. We do force back the army. So far, Cyril, he does keep up. Mutas once again coming in from left-hand side. Hive on the way. Cyril, he will soon have the superior army. Like, the ideal late game is Hydra, Lurker, Viper. And we're getting there. Now, again, we have to be careful to get into it too soon. If we incorporate too many Hydras and not enough Roaches, then we will die. So we do have to be careful. Speaking of, Roaches going to be engaging. Cyril being forced back. Ooh, we do force a cancel here on that hatchery. But a good concave here from Cyril. He collapses from multiple angles, does force back the army. Spiles will connect. You can see Cyril now mixing in a couple of extra Hydras. Lurker Den is done. Lurker should soon be on the way. At the same time, Raynor also taking in that direction. He is one step behind in terms of that tech, but he's on the way. Is on the way. Good splits here out of Cyril. He has detection everywhere. Forces back the army. Hive is done. No Lurker upgrades yet. That's really what I'm waiting for. +3 range. Will we catch all the mutas? Good catch there from Cyril. Getting all the mutas. Ooh, where's the detection? Detection not quite here. Ay, ay, ay. Cyril getting caught out. His army a little bit split up here. These Hydras so vulnerable. Protection, it has arrived. There it is. Finally, Groove Spines on the way. Lurker range. I do think those upgrades were a little bit delayed, though. Yeah, you can see this. Raynor, he's caught up. He's now caught up with the lurker upgrades. They are keeping up with each other. Viper's now in production. Nida Swarm on the way. So here we go. We are pushing in at the same time. Serral going for a big counterattack. And with reinforcements, Serral, he should be able to hold on. Yeah, he collapses on this army, forces it back. Fifth base goes down. And Serral, he can keep pushing in between the bases. Going for the upgrades. Denies +3. Nice +3 carapace. Just forcing back the army. And here it is, Serral now embracing the Lunkers. Now, throughout all of this, Raynor has had map control. He did double expand. He just lost his 5th, but he has a backup 5th on the way. He has the gold on the way. So Raynor has a booming economy. You can see that reflected in the supplies. So Raynor has a better economy. Serral will soon have the better army with all these lurkers. Not just the lurkers, but also the Vipers. Vipers on the way. Raynor now taking more of a defensive stance. Oh, we don't have adaptive talons. But Serral gets in with a run by. He slips into the main and the natural. Queens are going down. Drones as well. We catch some of the Hydras. Very efficient trades here from Serral. Likewise, Raynor rotating over towards the top. One lurker denies mining at the gold. Very nicely done. That economic advantage that Raynor once had, not there anymore. As he falls behind in workers and he's not able to make use of that gold. Serral is pulling Raynor apart. Raynor going to be committed here towards the top right, but Serral's in position. And lurkers are pushing forward. Now, I don't think Serral actually has enough to defend that northern base, but reinforcements are available. Big spine shots going off. Yeah, Serral, he's holding. He does hold. 15 drones go down. Ooh, Numerous has carapace on the way on that hatchery that's almost gone. On the way at the gold. And it looks like it does finish in time. Just before it goes down. Yeah, Serral just catches the Roach army. We'll shut it down towards the north as well. Now, to be fair, Raynor has gone into his own lurkers, but he's getting caught out. One lurker goes down. Big yoink as well. And this is where Vipers, they reign supreme. Lurkers are good, but they do get yoinked. One after the other. And we still have more yoinks available. Still have more abductions. As we shut down the 4th. And Raynor just losing base after base. He's burned through his bank. He doesn't have a bank any longer. Going for a counterattack, but Serral, he does have an army back at home just to defend. Oh, the misclick! No, Raynor! No, he's killing his own base! Oh my god! A little bit flustered. Making some big mistakes here, but again, he's already on the back foot. Big yoink goes off, another lurker goes down. Again, physically, mentally, Raynor, he's struggling here against Serral. It is becoming a bit much. Raynor going for his own counterattack at the 5th base of Serral. He's got side defense. Rotates over with his defensive army. And I just love that this entire time Serral has had just a marauding force to keep up with these counterattacks back at home. Okay, he cleans it up. And Raynor, he's down to 4 bases, and that 4th base is low because of earlier. GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and Serral, he takes a 3-0 lead in this series. GG. Papi. GG. A much more straight up ZVZ this time, where both players went hatch gas pool into their banelings, but Serral was able to out multitask his opponents with drop lords, with run bys. Serral was just all over Raynor. Likewise, because of that, Serral was also able to tech up quite heavily as well, very quickly into Hive Tech, into Lurkers, into Vipers. More importantly, those Vipers as well. Even though Raynor was able to catch up, even though Raynor had the better economy, remember, he was up 2 bases, he had the gold, he had a massive bank, but he just wasn't able to trade well against him, and he was pulled apart. He just wasn't able to keep up with the harassment of Serral. And again, the Vipers were kind of the nail in the coffin there towards the end. They were able to just have their way with the lurkers of Raynor. Raynor unable to get into his own Vipers. Unable to in the end. Was always one step behind tech-wise. And likewise, Raynor was a bit of a cheeky move to go for the faster Spire. The Mutas, they didn't really do too much. Like, they were scouted, the Spire was scouted, Hydras are already ready. That was another thing that just did not go Raynor's way. And with that, GG. Now, I did not expect a 4-0. If you recall at the start, I was like, we should get a back and forth. We should get, like, at least a game 5, at least a game 6 between these two players. But Cyril, he has been dominant so far. He's been very much so in control. Game 1 and Game 2 did come down to the builds, is what I will say. Remember, winding it back, Game 1 and Game 2 were much more aggressive in nature from both Raynor and Cyril. They were very aggressive, very all-in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 3 was a more standard game. That was a more standard back and forth. And even in the standard game, Cyril, he was favored there as well. Was just a bit too much. And this doesn't bode well. This doesn't bode well for Raynor. He's tried to rush into Mutas. He's tried to go for these Ling Roach all-ins. He's tried to be the defending player. Remember, it was Game 1 that Cyril went all in. Raynor has been struggling. Whether he's on the offensive or defensive, Cyril seems to be one step ahead. But we'll see if we can come back. This is it. It comes down to Hecate. It comes down to game number 4. One more loss, and Cyril advances on to the grand finals. Raynor has to fight back here and now. This is it. This is his moment. Oh, the lights are on. We can see, Bobby. We can see. Here we go. Cyril's EVZ seems unbeatable. I mean, kind of. I mean, again, like, Game 1 and Game 2 were not the most standard of games. That's why I brought that up. They were very unorthodox games where, again, we had all-ins from either player. Now, Golden Aura is very unique in a sense that once you win a fight, the rush distance by ground is very short. So you could see that very quickly when Cyril started gaining momentum, he started knocking down bases. Like, he was very in the face of Raynor. You have very little time to react. Hecate is different. So as we load into Hecate, it is a very defendable map. You can slow the game down quite a lot. If we were to see late game versus late game, lurker versus lurker, this would be the map for it. Hecate as well as Alcyone, but we're done with Alcyone at this point. Hecate would be a good map to slow the game down. Is that what Raynor wants, though? That's the question. Do we want a long macro late game against Cyril? Do we think that that's where we can thrive? Or do we go for a different approach? Hecate wouldn't be a bad map for Mutas. I would say that Mutas are pretty good on Hecate. But as we saw, Cyril is just so apt at not just scouting, but we mentioned at the time, Cyril has very frequently, recently, we saw it against Solar, where even if Cyril doesn't scout you, he throws down a safety Hydrogen anyway. Like this has become something that's a part of the norm for Cyril's playstyle in DBZ, is just a safety Hydrogen, which is inefficient if you don't need it, but he does it anyway. Like, he just prefers to play safe in a standard game. So it's very difficult to make Mutas work against Cyril nowadays, just because of this new adaptation of his. And again, it's in a way inefficient, true, but like Cyril, he can work with it anyway. He can afford to invest in that direction in these longer standard games. So we'll see. We'll see how Raynor approaches this. It's a very stressful game. It's a very intense moment here for Raynor. He does have to think this through. Does he want to open up aggressively? Does he want to open up defensively? We saw Raynor 12 full dark yesterday. No, sorry, 2 days ago. Raynor did a 12 full dark, and again, like, that series against Dark was also very chaotic. Dark couldn't get into his games. That series ended very quickly. I did see someone bring it up. But here we go. In the bottom left, we have Cyril for Basilisk. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have Raynor, his teammate, also for Basilisk. Let's go. But yeah, Raynor, he did previously in this tournament 3-0 Dark, but that was a very short series. Like, Raynor was so hyper aggressive in that series, just very in the face of Dark. Even 12 fooled him to death as well. But we see here, we're droning. We're opening up standard. We are opening up standard here. It's going to be a hatch gas pool, which means Ling Bane aggression is going to be on the table. It is going to be on the table here. And we'll see how we do decide to open up hatch gas pool from both players. No 15-15s, not anymore. Clearly it just wasn't working for Raynor in the first 2 games, so we've deviated away from that. We'll see if we can come back here. We may even just commit to Ling Bane aggression at this point. It may just be the play. I think the scary thing here is that Serral is very comfortable at the moment. He has a 3-0 lead. And as we saw in game 1, Serral is not afraid to go all in. Like, Serral, he's not afraid to just cut workers and be aggressive himself. That's the scary thing about this game right now, is that it isn't just about, like, Raynor deciding how to approach this, but also Serral as well can suddenly, at the flip of a switch, just cut workers and just try to end the game. And be in the face of Raynor. Oh boy. So the pressure is on. Let's go. This one looks like Serral's playing versus AI. Serral not on top of the game these days. I don't think I would agree with that. Again, like Raynor, he did just 3-0 Dark. I feel like just because Raynor's been we kill the Ursadak. No, just because Raynor is down 3-0 doesn't mean that he's been playing poorly. He hasn't been, but a lot of this has come down to a lot of the builds as well. As we mentioned before, like game 3 has been the only one that has been more of a back and forth, where Raynor was pulled apart. The other games, players were much more committed with their openers, with their builds. They were all in. They were cutting workers. So I don't think that comment is applicable to this series. Not yet, at least. As for now, we are easing into this. We do see Serral going to be the one to make a wave of Lings. Let's go. We have 12 Lings in production. Bailey and Ness are finishing up, and Serral is soon to be moving out across the map. Raynor back at home setting up with his Banelings. Again, it's going to come down to the control. We have to keep up with the micro of Serral. Can we? Serral behind this is droning. Just applying some light pressure here. There's a world where he can get some juicy connections. But that's really all that he's looking for. Oh, the trade against the Ling Bane. Apply pressure. We'll back off. Doesn't slip into the mineral line. Doesn't get into the natural. Serral does retreat. And now Serral, he's working towards roaches. He's droning. Likewise, so is Raynor. So we're done with the roach. Sorry, we're done with the Ling Bane. We're getting into roach v roach. Roach versus roach is on the way. Nice scout out of Serral. He does confirm the roach warren. Ooh, Serral. Very interesting here. He's actually doubling down on Link production. He wants to kill that third. Oh boy, this is a risky move, by the way, because we do still have defensive Banelings back at home. Raynor has an army. He does see him coming across the map. The Banelings! God. We do get eyes on this so far. Raynor's going to be able to hold. Raynor, he's ahead in workers. So, does take a Baneling to the face. Does out-trade his opponent, though. 2 for 1. Yeah, and there we go. That's every single Baneling going down for Raynor. Banelings are getting out of control. We're busting into the mineral line. And Serral, he has broken this location. He's killed the queen. Roach is coming out just in time, but we do bust into the mineral line. Not what to kill, though. We get 2 more drones. And we do get cleaned up. 3 workers in total. But this was a good trade for Serral. As the dust settles, Serral, he does have a worker lead. And now we're getting into Roach v Roach. Again, the Ling Bane doesn't matter anymore, so Serral, he got rid of it. And is stabilizing back at home. Now, what I will say is that Serral's Evo Chamber is late. He has a late Evo Chamber because of all those Lings, and that means Raynor is going to be ahead in upgrades. He has +1 range on the way, about to finish up, as Cyril is yet to start his own. So, Raynor, he will have better roaches. Overall, the roaches will just be better for Raynor. I'm sure Cyril is aware. A way to catch back up is to go into a second Eva chamber very quickly, or we could actually try to go into mutas. That could be an option here for Cyril, is to tech up in a different direction, to make up for his worst roaches. We'll see. As for now, both players are just joining on up. They're going to be saturating. Lairs are on the way. They're about to finish. And once the lair finishes, we can then get a read on if either player wants to tech in a certain direction. Raynor going for +1 carapace. Interesting. There's the Spire, which makes sense. As we just mentioned, the rationale behind the Spire is because +1 range is so late, because the roaches are going to be at a deficits, may as well invest into mutas at this point. Just to force a reaction out of your opponent and to maybe get damage done. So this does make plenty of sense for Cyril. Spire is on the way. It's going to be on Raynor to scout. It's going to be on Raynor to get a read on what's happening. Raynor does have Overlord speed on the way. Big upgrade for him. With Overlord speed, he should be able to get a read on what's happening. As the Overseer did dip in, did we scout the Spire? If we did, we would have seen a Hydrogen by now. Spire more than halfway done. There it is, Hydrogen on the way for Raynor. So a good read here from the Red Zerg player. He will be ready for those mutas. He will have anti-air. So as we get into this, I want to give the edge to Raynor. Remember, he's ahead in upgrades. He's already got +2 on the way alongside +1 carapace. He did scout the Spire. He's fully aware. He does have confirmation. Hydras are on the way. Now, Cyril also knows he got scattered. He knows he got... He's going into Banelings? He's going into Baneling speed. This tells us that Cyril wants to commit to more mutas. He has made 7 already, which is a little bit more than normal. I'm curious if we see another wave. Okay, no. He's going into roaches. But again, Bathing Speed is an interesting one. He's doubling down on roaches. Mutas, they do catch the Overseer. So Bathing Speed is typically not researched unless you're committing into Mass Muta, just because they're the answers to Hydras. So really interesting that Cyril is investing in that upgrade. Meanwhile, Mutas, they get across the map. Hydras have been spotted. There it is. Banelings are on the way. We're going for some run-bys. Which would be a good way to get back into this and to try to cripple the economy and get ahead against Raynor. Yeah, 24 Oh my god! Jesus. Cyril. He's maxing out with Roach Baneling here. Interesting move. I mean, there are a lot of Hydras, so that is, again, the purpose of the Banelings is to run past the army and get on top of the Hydras. This is very committed out of Cyril. Very committed. Again, Raynor, he's taking up even further. Cyril, he's basically all in. He's going all in with this. Raynor, he's working towards Hive Tech. 2-2. Hydras, soon to be Lurkers. There's that Lurker den on the way. Raynor, he's getting ready for the late game. Cyril, this is it. This is all he has. This is his moment. And he needs to break his opponent here and now. Banelings are rolling in. Oh, they get trapped here. They get stuck on some of these roaches. They will barely get on top of the Hydras. They try to. The roaches, they're breaking on through just barely. The Banelings, they want the Hydras, then they're going to get them. They barely will connect with the Hydras, and Cyril, he busts through the army. He was all in with this. The Hail Mary play. He breaks into the middle line as well, and Cyril, he has done it. Crazy puppy to invest into Banelings to go for a 3-base all in. And he does get 15 worker kills. Does he have enough to keep going, though? Cyril being forced back. Raynor, he's holding. But he has taken a big blow to his economy. Meanwhile, Cyril, behind this, he's making a couple of drones. He's working towards infestation, but towards Hive Tech. And Cyril still has the supply lead. He's pushing on the left-hand side. He's getting ready for his push. Raynor trying to keep up. Again, down in supply. Good concave, though. Good position. Lurkers coming in. And we do not have detection. Again, if it wasn't for this Lurker, then we could probably just keep on pushing. We may just do that anyway. The Lurker does hold. So clutch, very clutch there from Raynor. He does barely get into the one lurker keeps him alive. Forces back the arm. We have a second lurker on the way. Raynor barely getting to lurker play. This will allow him to stabilize. Lurkers will slow the game down. They will force back Serral, and Serral is now taking up into his own hive tech. So Raynor lives. He is living with these lurkers. And the game will settle from here. Now, Serral has map control, so basically Serral is going to have the better economy. He has had the better economy. He's going to be able to tech up and catch up when it comes to hive tech and lurker tech and upgrades in general. So, on the one hand, yes, Raynor survives, but Serral is catching up when it comes to the quality of his army. Catching up when it comes to lurkers. So, we spoke about it at the start of the game, how Hecate would be an ideal map for lurker versus lurker for late game. I wasn't sure if that's where Raynor wanted to take it. Clearly it is. I mean, that's what he was working towards. And that is where the game is headed. Just because how defendable this map is, it's so difficult to break a defending player. We're going in anyway. We're forcing our way through. We do get one. One lurker goes down, but there's still 3 left. Still 3 left here on the high ground. Now 5. Yeah, with 5, there's no pushing into this. No pushing in. Again, this 4-base setup is so heavily fortified. Raynor, he has maxed out. Now, Serral is in an awkward position. He has to get rid of these roaches. He has to get rid of some of the roaches to make room for Hydra Lurker. Hydra Lurker Viper, essentially. Two Vipers just came out. We're just going to be pushing in. I'm loving the Drop Lords threading the main. Roach drop into the main base. Mutas are still alive as well. We should probably throw those mutas away. Yeah, there we go. They're hurting us more than helping us at this point. Just because we want to free up supply for lurkers. So we dip in between the bases. Again, Serral's still one step behind when it comes to the upgrades. The roaches, they do get in. They do slip into the mirror line. Drones are going down. Vipers are amassing. As, yeah, from here, both players are going to be maxing out. They're still refining their armies. That's the thing right now. You can see Raynor, he's moving out with his roaches, and as we mentioned, both players, they want to get rid of most of their roaches. They want to throw them away. I mean, not throw them away, they want to trade them ideally as efficiently as possible. And you can see here, as we bleed out roaches, we're going to be replacing them with hydras. See additional hydras on the way for Serral. Nidus on the way here for Raynor. As his hydras do give him some map control, they shut down the overlords. Just pushing in. Lurker's not quite ready here for Serral. And we have a Nidus Swarm into the main base as well. Raynor trying to pull apart his opponent. And so far he is. He breaks on through. Where's the detection though? The detection was lagging behind, and this main army, it's going to crumble. We do get on top of the lurkers. Nidus does finish up in the main, but nothing inside it. A couple of lurkers do pop out, but we have Vipers. We have Vipers in position. We're looking for some yoinks. At the same time, Raynor pushing in towards the third. Raynor, he will break the third base, but he's losing lurkers in the main. Expensive losses here for Raynor. As we rotate back over, Vipers are soon to arrive. Raynor pulling Serral apart a little bit. But he's bleeding out a lot of lurkers. Another lurker going to be going down. Nidus is denied. A good Blinding Cloud, though. Very nice Blinding Cloud. The final lurker does fall. There was a lot of chaos there, but overall, yeah, I do want to give the edge to Serral here. Doesn't have a lot of lurkers of his own, to be fair. So we are pushing in. Pushing up the ramp. Big Blinding Cloud. Yeah, the defender's advantage is just too good. Lurkers on the way. Nidus Swarm once again into the main. Oh my god, this Nidus Swarm is being such a nuisance here. And Raynor, he's breaking through. He is breaking through. Does deny lurkers. I mean, Serral, he hasn't been able to make any lurkers at all so far. He needs them. been struggling. As Raynor does pull back. The game is going to settle from here, and now both players can settle into their lurker production. Raynor has been bleeding out a lot, but he has the economy to sustain those losses. He's rebuilding them. Cyril getting into his first wave of lurkers himself. Upgrades for the most part, I believe, are even. I believe Raynor's on 3-3. I think Cyril's on 3-2. I'm not too sure about +3 carapace. I may have missed it. But lurker upgrades are all done. Vipers are amassing. We are getting into lurker viper versus lurker viper. Now pushing out. Nidoswarm on the right hand side. May not be pushing towards these spine crawlers. Cyril out of position. Cyril not where he needs to be. Good spine shots going to be going off on these lurkers, but there's so many. So he's going to be able to hold on to this northern base. Lurkers repositioning. Big blinding cloud, but it's not enough. So he will hold. But in between the bases, Raynor, he's gaining ground. Pushing towards the natural. Gets on top of the Bailey nest. Oh, Cyril going for his own counterattack. So he has his own counterattack across the map as well. He's trying to break into the third base of Raynor. Show it, Pappy, show it. 12 drones go down. And so he is breaking through. He's getting on top of the base. Getting on top of the hatchery. So he's defending. He does lose a lot of workers, but he will hold on to the base. Here come the yoinks. Oh my god, that Nidus. That position is brutal. Every single time. That Overseer, the MVP. So many Nidoswarms into the main base, constantly just dragging Cyril out of position. Raynor coming in from multiple angles. Ooh, catches some move command, Roach Ravager. Very nice pick off. Cyril falling behind in supply. He is in some trouble here. He has bases, but again, specifically because of the Nidoswarm, Raynor, he's just been all over Cyril. A base gonna get picked off. Spine crawlers haven't been rebuilt. Raynor has a solid edge, and yeah, we can see the upgrades here. Cyril, he's behind in that carapace. So his army quality is a little bit worse than that of Raynor's. Carapace isn't the most important upgrade, but does impact the game regardless. Does impact the fight. Nidoswarm going to be shut down. So we'll try to re-establish these southern bases. The game will slow down for a moment here, which will help Cyril stabilize. But overall, Raynor has been in the driver's seat. Well, Cyril, he does get on top of this base, and this base should go down. Hatchery does fall. Cyril gets the hell out of there. Ooh, is going to lose a lurker. Bit of mispathing there from Cyril. One lurker goes down. Vipers are amassing. Big abductions. We trade Vipers for Vipers. Cyril, he does come out ahead. Did kill one extra Viper, I think. Base is going to be denied. Cyril ignoring the army pushing through. Ooh, these lurker spots, the lurker shots. They do connect with the army as we go straight for the natural base, straight for the Nidus. Uh-oh. Cyril's going to be losing a mining base. Meanwhile, Cyril, he's going for the tech of Raynor. The natural, that's where everything is. The Hydra Den and the Lurker Den. Ay, ay, ay. Raynor, he has to turn back around. Cyril doesn't make his way in. But takes control of the high ground. Yoinks the Vipers. 1, 2, 3 of them go down. And this is brutal to push into. We are pushing in, though. And we do barely get on top of some of these lurkers. Oh my god, but so much damage being dealt. Raynor losing so much. Here come the reinforcements. Cyril, he will hold on to this position. He will maintain. He catches reinforcements. And this may just be the kill move. The kill move that Cyril was hoping for. At the same time, though, Raynor going for the same thing. Going into the natural. But with significantly less. Only with 3 lurkers. Do we have detection back at home? Hive going to be going down. No more Vipers. No more Vipers for Raynor. Yeah, this is becoming too much. Cyril, he's in control of this game. He's down in workers, but he's up in army. He cleans up the harassing force. And he has broken the natural, and he's getting into the main base as well. We have lurkers in so many bases here, and Raynor, he was so close. He wasn't looking bad in this game. We had him more back and forth. He was pulling Cyril apart, but the kill move was going right through the center, into the natural, sniping the tech. Bases are falling left and right. Again, if the game goes on longer, then Raynor can stabilize. He has the economy, or he has the workers. But we catch the lurkers. We do catch them out. Cyril pushing in between the bases. Still has a supply lead. Doesn't have his entire army here. There's one Viper. We have one Yoink. But you can see Cyril, he gets into the mineral line. In the northern base, no mining whatsoever. Drones are falling left and right. A good abduction on one of those lurkers. But I don't believe Raynor has any lurkers left. He's pulling the boys. The Yoink! He wants the Viper, and he will get it. Big pick off. Remember, the Hive is dead. No more Vipers for Raynor. No more Vipers are available. Don't believe he has any more lurkers either. He's pushing in. He's trying to force his way in, and it looks like he will not be able to do so. Cyril, he holds on to this position. He will take this fight. Overlords, the boys are being pulled as well, trying to break the lurkers. But the lurkers, they hold. And we get into the mineral line as well. Yeah, it's just too much. Just barely too much. Good kiting here from Cyril. And that economic advantage that Raynor once had, not there anymore. Not anymore here as 44 drones go down. Raynor down to 16 army supply. Does get a lurker. The spines are waddling in. GG gets called. And Cyril, amidst all this chaos, and he found a way through. GG, well played. Cyril takes down Raynor 4-0. GG. GG, well played. A clean sweep here. Raynor did cause a lot of chaos, and there was a big chance, there was a big opportunity here in this game. Initially, Raynor was almost dead. Remember, Cyril went for the 3-base all-in. He went for that big bailing timing, and he barely didn't kill Raynor. He crippled him though, but Raynor was able to barely get into lurkers. Remember, there was that one moment where Cyril was up like 30 supply, and there was one lurker on top of the ramp, and that was enough to hold. That was enough to force Cyril back. Raynor, he stabilized, got up to a maxed out army, rushed into lurkers, and Raynor, he was popping up. He was hitting left and right, Nidus worms all over the place, and Cyril was hurting economically. He was in a rough position. He was down in upgrades, but he went for the kill move. That push right through the center towards the natural caught Raynor off guard. It wasn't just that. As he was pushing towards the natural, he also had lurkers in 2 other mineral lines, and he was just pulling Raynor apart in just one swift move. Despite how well Raynor was performing, again, that was just too much for him to handle. GG, well played. Several advances onto the grand finals. And here in the lower bracket, Raynor gets knocked down. He's waiting for his next opponent, which will be taking place tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a couple of matches. We have Hero versus Solar and Maru versus Dark. 2 best of 7s. Ah, look at it. It's beautiful. A ZVP and a TV and a TVZ as well to end the night. Tomorrow is going to be brutal. These are elimination matches. Elimination matches coming up in less than 24 hours to determine who faces off against Raynor in the lower bracket finals. These 4 players are going to be facing off and duking it out. Oh.
宇宙浩瀚无
GG.
垠，智识包罗万象。
GG, well played. And yeah, really impressive performance here tonight out of Cyril. Raynor was doing well for himself. He was keeping up in a sense, especially in that final game, but Cyril was just too much to handle, and yeah, looking unstoppable here. And what's really important is that Cyril, he's looking in form leading into IEM. IEM Katowice is like 2 weeks away. It's like right around the corner. You want to be in form for that tournament, and Cyril is definitely one to keep an eye out for. Meanwhile, bearing in mind, there are still some other big heavy hitters here. Hero, he went to the ace match against Raynor. He barely didn't beat Raynor, We could see a rematch. We could see Hero rise through the ranks. We could see Maru look to get his revenge and also rise through the ranks as well to face off against Reina and then Cyril as well. There's also Dark. There's also Solar, the recent GSL champion. There are a lot of big names still in this tournament, and we won't necessarily see a Reina versus Cyril rematch. We could see a rematch, or we could see something different. So again, if you're interested, tomorrow will be the continuation of Masters Coliseum, followed by the day after and the day after that. 3 days. 3 days left of Masters Coliseum action, right before IM Katowice. Oh, GG. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We do appreciate the support, but we are done for the night. I'm starving. I would like to get some food, Papi. I'd like some food. Hold on. Predictions. We'll pay out the predictions in the chat. Beautiful. But yeah, we are done for the night. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone, for dropping by. We appreciate it. If you want to support us, we're also streaming over on YouTube as well. Over on YouTube. And yeah, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all that stuff. Fun fact, I did stream earlier today over on my own personal channel. If you're interested, you can follow me there. At light_VIP. Fun fact, I streamed for the first time in almost 3 weeks. We've been so busy casting, so busy streaming. Haven't had the opportunity to ladder, and I'll try to in the next couple of days. I enjoy it. We've been busy. We've been busy, Papi. So keep an eye on that if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with some more Masters Coliseum. See you then. Hasta luego. Ciao, Papi. Ciao. Hasta luego, Papi. Hasta luego.